If you've ever waited for an interview to finish so that you could get your short list of stocks so that you can make your money on a Friday, then you'd be like the rest of this chat. Good morning, folks. We're back. You already know it. Live trading getting started here. Thank you all for being patient. 13 and I are ready to kick some ass.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that.
Hello, folks, and welcome back. Sorry about the delay, but we gonna pay them bills so we can keep coming back day after day after day for you folks. Thank you all for hanging out and being patient. Let's not waste any more time. 13, happy Friday, boss. How you doing?
Oh, it is a happy Friday. I'm ready to have this weekend begin. I got a draft tomorrow. I'm good to go. Let's have some fun, folks.
Let me tell you something. The weekends when we start talking about fantasy football drafts, oh man, things are good. And we're in it's like a Venn diagram where you're in that spot where it's like you've got football and you've got golf, because one's a summer sport and one's a winter sport. But there's that overlap where you can do both, and that is the blissful time. And that's where we're at now. We are going to go ahead and break down some of the stuff going on. Let's start with the SPY here. Oh, I've got to queue up my charts here. We wouldn't want someone to complain about charts not being queued up, right? Am I right, folks? LOL. Here we go. Here is your SPY chart. This morning, it looks like we're trading up a little bit. So yesterday, one of the things that we were saying, we had a down day. The bears ended up winning. The market bears, ended up winning a day. Let's see if we can get any type of continuation, or do the buy the dippers come out and say, no, folks, no pullbacks are allowed in this market. We still have to go test those all-time highs. Let's get it done. So, where we're at here today, currently at 559, just under 560. Let's see where we end up going here today. Again, upside level here going to be the top of the engulfing candle from yesterday, and then the all-time highs. Downside level here is going to be the trend line, and then maybe the 50-day moving average right beneath it. So 13, level-wise, what do you got?
Well, I was talking about 557 and 555 yesterday. We saw 557 provide temporary support before the price ended up falling through that. And at the end of the day, we saw a National Geographic level of fighting between the bulls and the bears right down at that 555 level. Bulls ended up winning that fight, took the stock back up to over 556, and that's where we closed. We did end up closing with a bearish engulfing candle yesterday. But as we've observed already many times in this current rally, this recovery that we're in, sometimes those bearish candles really don't mean a whole lot, and the market continues to grind higher. So now we're kind of we're set to open in the middle of this engulfing candle. So we're not going to take it out quite yet, but that's just something to watch for. I think what happens with Fed Powell speaking today at the Economic Symposium, that happens at 10 a.m. Eastern. I think that's going to dictate where the market goes for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I've actually got CNBC up here on another screen. I have it muted, of course, because you don't need to hear the talking heads. But there is a little thing at the bottom that says, moments away, Fed Chair Powell to speak at the Jackson Hole Fed Summit. So that is coming soon. I'd like to hear what the group thinks. What do you think about the market? What do you think we're going to do here today? What do you think the market does? We'll react to whatever it does, just trying to get some ideas from the group. Good stuff there on the breakdown 13 on the SPY. Let's go ahead and talk about the movers. Let's do it a little quick. I'll try. Where is my movers page? Up here. Oh my God, I deleted my movers page, I think. Nope, right here. I'm just blind. But that's the thing. I have a layout saved, so that would have been no big deal at all. As I recover it. Okay, first, we're going to start with SQNS. To me, this is the biggest mover here of the morning. This one is going to be the most volatile, at least from the information that I have. So let's go ahead and break this down like a fraction. SQNS, Sequens Communication shares are trading higher after the company reported a year-over-year increase in preliminary Q2 revenue results, But we also had another piece of news in here that I want to alert you to. Sequens agrees to sell its 4G Internet of Things technology for $200 million to Qualcomm while retaining license for ongoing use and development. That seems good. And that actually seems like that is probably the bigger driver here. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but that definitely seems good. Stock's up 165% here, up to $1.44. So this is a penny stock becoming a $1 stock. And if you take a look at the pre-market formation here, you see a lot of good things. We see a huge spike. Looks like 180 provided the resistance for that first impulse move. You see a pullback down to the VWAP, as well as a consolidation around that VWAP level. Now we're holding above it. So let's see what the opening print gives us here. We're also seeing some pretty significant volume already here in the pre-market. 29 million shares traded versus an average of 117,000. So clearly the eyeballs are here. Clearly the news that's on this stock is driving it here. 13, what do you got?
Yeah, so for a company that has a market cap of 33 million, 200 million coming from Qualcomm is pretty good for them. So I think that's going to really help lift this stock a bit here. That I don't know how they plan to use that money. I know that they did already receive I think it was 15 million of it, a preliminary deposit. Now they are due to receive another 175 at the closing of that sale, with the final 10 coming a year later after a warranty period. So lots of cash coming their way. I don't know how they intend to use it, but if they are going to pay down any debt, that would effectively wipe out outstanding debt that they have, and that would still leave cash on the balance sheet. So this is a very good thing for them to be undertaking. They do have 39.8 million shares in the float, so not necessarily the smallest of floats like the ones we're used to trading, but still should see some pretty decent movement. Just keep in mind, we're not going to get those crazy outsized moves all the time. We might get one or two, but it's still a little bit of a thicker float than we're used to trading with these. Didn't see any recent reverse splits or any short interest of note. But this one, SQNS, does look like it's ready to go higher just on that sale to QCOM alone.
Okay, and real quick, Webcoin here, can we confirm? Yeah, I could give you the reading that I have. I've got shares outstanding about 62 million and a float here of just under 40 million. That's what I've got on those stats here. That float data point can be notoriously difficult to pin down. But as 13 just said, without any recent splits, I would think we're probably in the ballpark there. So let me know if that helps you. Good stuff there, 13. Let's move on here. Next one is going to be MNTS. This is momentous. We're familiar with this stock. Another penny stock wanting to join the dollar stock club. We popped yesterday in the after hours. Now, this morning, we dipped a little bit right around that pre-market open, but we traded back up. And if we take a look at the news here, we don't see anything fresh for this one. So this just kind of looks like momentous trading on momentum. You see what I did there? What do you got here for ticker MNTS?
Well, being that Momentous is a company that offers in-space infrastructure services, I think we might be seeing this movement as a relationship to what's been going on with Lunar and ASTS. That would be my guess as to why it's moving, because as you pointed out, there's no real news to be driving this morning. One thing I did take a look at was their finances. They do need some cash, so they're going to have to raise cash, but they also are going to need to do a reverse split. Now, they are above $1 today, right now, but before that, they were under $1, and I would be questioning their ability to remain compliant. So I think that what's going to happen with Momentous and probably one or two of these other companies that we'll be talking about is they're going to have to do a reverse split, and they're going to have to do an offering. I think the reverse split will come first, so I don't really think there's any real risk of the offering coming now. But I don't want to make any promises. But as far as the float, they have 16.5 million shares, and like you said, no news. But I think this is just relationship momentum, and with coming from the Lunar AST momentum that's been going on lately too.
Okay, really good stuff there. Next here is going to be PRTG. This is Portage Biotech. It's traded up above 7, has really kind of pared back down. We've lost about 70% of this impulse move here. So far, we've done a really good job holding on to 4, although we really haven't had a quality test of that level. We'll see if we end up getting it. The selling or the pullback here seems to have slowed down, ticker PRTG. Take a look at the daily chart here. It's not appealing. Not appealing. So we'll see if this can actually kind of turn around and give us something here. As far as the news goes here, I don't really have anything. You got this form here. I didn't go into this one this morning. I don't really have any news. What do you got, 13?
Well, so yeah, they don't have news. They recently reverse split when they had their earnings earlier this month. It was back on the 15th. So they've taken care of that. This is another company that needs to raise cash. So they may do that soon. And that's one of the things about that form POSAM. That's a form that they have to file with when they. I really don't know how to explain this form very well, but it's usually like a post form that comes out after the prospectus. Somebody else in the chat's going to have to help me out here with this one because I don't know all the forms very well. But this is one that I'd be concerned about with them raising cash with, because this is one of the ones they do need to have filed in order to make an offering. So I think that you may see cash or a cash offering a stock offering come out at some point for this one very soon. So PRTG, very, very very risky, I think. I don't know that I would want to trade this one just because I think that they are going to try and make an offering very soon because they do need the money.
Okay. Really good stuff there. A couple of things to just kind of tie off here. First of all, good day, Bex. Great to see you. Enjoy the coffee. Also, Smoke Tuna saying PRTG might bounce here at 350 if we get down to that level. So keep that
Almost
one
there.
on the back burner there. What's that?
Almost there.
Almost there. Ryan put the mockers on it now. Not sure what that means, but it came from the heart. I appreciate you. But I did want to answer this. So Lynn is asking, what is your measure of a company needing cash 13 ratio? And I don't think that you have a specific ratio, but I can speak to this because 13 and I both do this all the time. We often will take a look at how much of a runway the company has, right? So what he'll do here is in Pro, by the way, you Pro members, click on the financials, look at the most recent quarter. Okay, 5 million on hand. Cool. Now let's go to the statement of cash flow. Oh boy, they burned 3 million a quarter. So as far as the cash position that we see right now, they've got one and a part of another quarter. Maybe let's call it 1.5 quarters. And 13, correct me if I'm wrong here, but you're thinking in order for them to continue operations, you got to think that there's a raise coming, right?
And I also look at their income statement. But yeah, that's in order to continue operations, that's exactly it. They need to have enough cash to keep it going because they're not. If they don't have revenue, then they're just burning through it. So you need to be able to stay in business by having cash on hand. And if they are going to continue to burn that and they don't have it, and it's just a simple math at that point.
Yep.
If a rate at which they burn is not sustainable, they're going to have to get more money, and they do that through making more stock offerings.
And the reason I wanted to cover that real quick is because I did not, and again, 13, correct me if I'm wrong, but I didn't think that you had a specific ratio. Rather, you're kind of looking at it on a case-by-case basis to see if the company has enough cash. Really good stuff there, folks. Good question, Lynn. All right, next here on the list is going to be GDC. This is GD Culture Group. This had a fairly decent day yesterday and the day before, and guess what? We are ramping into the open here. For me, with this type of extension away from the VWAP of over $1, which is over 10% at this point, I'm definitely going to wait a pullback here. If we take a look at the news here for GDC, I can see this morning, GDC announces SyncWave X, redefining video production with direct audio to video AI technology. Yesterday, it looks like we had some news in the afternoon as well as in the after hours, issued a report amid explosive Q2 growth. What do you got here, ticker GDC?
Well, I didn't really cover this one too much because this is something that we've been, we've already been on this week, and this is the one that started moving because they reported they opened a TikTok account. So
I still think that's funny that was the catalyst. We started a TikTok account.
Yeah. So I mean that's this one that's coming out with more news. So I don't have a good grasp on exactly what this company does. Maybe somebody else in the chat can help me out, but it's moving today, and as long as we have some levels we can look at and just, I think I would just trade on technicals at this point because I really don't have a good read on the stock. I don't know exactly what they do. Opening a TikTok account and having it run as much as it did, I think is kind of silly. So really couldn't tell you exactly what this company is all about. I'll just say that they have 9.6 million shares in the float. It seems like they are probably going to have to raise cash at some point. I don't think they're going to need to reverse split in order to do that, but I think that the next step for them would be to make an offering. So Just keep that in mind. That's
Okay.
really all I have on GDC. I'm sorry I couldn't provide more.
No, you provided plenty. This actually started to pull back there too. Let's see if we get closer to that VWAP. Jay Harris saying, Ryan and 13, would you wait to play anything until Powell speaks? I don't want to make that. I don't want to make that statement early. I mean, if we see a setup here, we'll try it. We'll trade it. As far as like the broader market, I have no market trade on, right? So I have no like SQQQ or Q's trade or SPY trade. I got none of that stuff on. I'll wait to hear what Paul says about that. Go ahead, 13.
Maybe some like swing positions or something that you're holding for a little bit longer. As far as day trades go, I mean, you know, we're going to be pretty close when he starts talking after the opening bell. Yeah. It's like 30 minutes, so I could see the appeal and just waiting, but I don't think I'd want to be even, you know, trading as we approach that time when he's starting to talk, because it could turn the trade south and you know, things would get ruined. So I think that's not a bad idea. Just to be careful, and you know, as we approach that time, I'm probably going to trade something out of the open if it provides an opportunity. But other than that, yeah, I think maybe sitting on your hands is just a good idea until he starts talking.
Okay, good stuff. Last one here is going to be FFIE. We've covered this for several days here. Recent reverse split. We're printing 10s here. All I'm really going to say, I'm going to turn this over to you. All I'm really going to say here on FFIE, be careful with this one. Just be careful. We've covered this one ad nauseum. This is extremely extended. Please be careful.
Yeah,
Day
this
trade
company
only.
Yeah, this company has like almost, you know, it's got 383 million in property, plant, and equipment, and that's really where a lot of the value of the company is, in just what they're holding on to, because this company doesn't have cash, they don't make money. So I mean, they say they could make money. They made 293,000 last quarter. Okay, but I don't think this is a big money generating machine, and the income statement says that. I mean, they lost 108 million last quarter. So again, be very, very careful with this one.
Got some cool story bro vibes from that one. Okay, last one here on the list is going to be SYTA. This is Sayata Mobile. This peaked or spiked to $3, retraced almost the entire move here. Sayata Mobile shares trading higher after the company announced it expanded its presence in the mining industry with an initial order of its SD7 handsets and related accessories. So, okay, there you go. SYTA. Let's go and move over to the main workspace. We are about to open here, less than a minute. And Kraken, Mullen, also Smoke Tuna giving us the watch here real quick. Where are you? Hollow MGLO, going to be your penny plays. Hollow YOLO Jolo. That was an amazing trade on your part, Joe. Really good stuff. Also, the stream is sponsored by Trade the Pool. So if you ever need more dry powder, you simply need more help, go ahead and try Trade the Pool. I got to figure this out. This is wild. Why is this not working? This is not how it is. There we go. There we go. Okay. All right. SQNS. This is probably the big mover here. This 155. Let's see if it gets to that 160 resistance area. A little bit of size there. But remember, with this low price of a stock, that size is kind of not all that meaningful. Just saying.
ASTS moving up out of the gate.
Estes right out of the gate.
A lot of the ones we were talking about this morning that we covered, they didn't do a whole lot at the open. Maybe QNS might get going here. They have let's see, was this after hours? Yeah, they have an after hours high of 183. That's pretty close to where the pre-market high was. I think 183 is where we need to get to next. 190 is a level that I have for it to break to the upside. Now, if it does that, 255 would be my next upside target for SQNS.
FFIE was pulling back a little bit. Smoke Tuna looking at AIRI from yesterday for a potential bounce move here. Here is SQNS. This in a 10-cent range right now. Let's see if this is able to break out at all. SQNS around here. Don't really see a lot of action here right around the open, which is expected for a Friday here.
Nope. I think that might be a common sentiment among traders, because I'm looking at the SPY and we are slightly down, but not really choosing a direction. I think that sitting on your hands until Powell talks is what everybody's thinking.
Here, I actually thought SQNS might come in. It actually stopped at this 155 bid that was out there, and we just took out 160. So each tick up here is a new intraday high. We've got some targets above here. 185 looks to be the big target. 175, 170. 175 to 179, probably the next spot here on SQNS. We're taking out 165. Here we go. 170 up now.
Wants 183.
This not my favorite type of trade. I generally don't take these things right out of the open. We like to see a lot of shenanigans around the open. Grats to anyone that was in this. This has actually worked pretty well. 150 was the low. If you got anywhere in there around 155, probably take the first sell here, peel and protect.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it wants to get to 183.
Indeed.
Making its way up there, but there is a sizable wall at 180 that it's got to chew through. So we get through that, then we might see a big move up through 183, maybe even to the 190s.
GDC halted to the upside here. The TikTok.
Oh wow!
The TikTok catalyst is driving it. This is wild stuff here. GDC halted to the upside. Good morning, Judge. Thanks for joining us. Hope you are well on this fine morning.
Absolutely. Welcome.
Sonder in a 6 handle here. Boy, this is an awesome looking bull flag on the daily. This was initially on our list for that huge pop above all of its moving averages. And this is really just kind of holding up here. I actually think if this continues to consolidate here, Sand, we go higher. FFIE dip and rip out of the open. That's exactly the shenanigans that I was just talking about. Rippin' DT. Good to see you this morning, my man. Happy Friday.
Yeah, it did get a little bit of support from that VWAP, didn't it? Just went down to VWAP and said, oh no, we're reversing and going higher.
Yep.
1125, that's the pre-market high. Looking to take that out. I have 1155 as an upside target next.
Okay, SQNS now, a little bit of a pullback off that impulse move. Here we go. So now it's down to that 155 spot that was supporting it initially. We'll see if it breaks through this here. Yep, there it goes. 150 going to be the day low. That's your next spot here. That's broken. Lower we go. SQNS, this is why you pay yourself on the way up. This is why you pay yourself on the way up. 171, that high print here. Sellers now flooding the ask on SQNS. Let's see where this thing bottoms.
Yeah, there's a lot of turnaround with all the ones we were just talking about. FFIE even pulled back a little bit too. MNTS, that's kind of sideways right now.
SQNS halted downside. I'll tell you what, that happened fast. That happened fast. I hope you folks got those sell orders in there. We're telling you to protect. That's exactly why. Thank you, market, for not making me look like a dumbass and instead making me look like I know what I'm talking about. Pay yourself on the way up, especially on these small volatile names. GDC still halted here to the upside.
Jay Harris asking if someone can give you the SPY numbers.
Sure, I'll put it on screen. Picard on screen. Here we go.
For downside, I'm still looking at the same ones that we were testing yesterday. That was 557 and 555. For upside, it's really going to be that I would say maybe that 562, kind of where we filled the gap a couple days ago, and then the all-time high of 565.16. PRTG is
Fed's Bostic. Inflation moved a lot faster than I anticipated.
Yeah,
I would not have put that out there personally.
Yeah,
That's not what I would have said. Honestly,
I think he says a lot of really wrong things.
Yeah, he does. Ooh, Jay's Life. Did you top tick SQNS? Chewbacca loves it, dude. Let's go. Nice trade right out of the gate there. SQNS. I'm curious to see what this does when it opens.
Oh, look at MNTS. That's pushing up to through VWAP right now.
SYTA might be going back to its VWAP too. MNTS right at VWAP here to your point, 13. Do we break through? Do we find resistance here?
FFIE also took out 1125, still having some resistance at, oh, never mind. It just took that out too. 1140 now, the new intraday high. Still looking for 1155 in FFIE. PRTG trying to hold the VWAP. Not sure if it will.
Let's see if MNTS can really get through its VWAP here. I don't know.
Lumen pushing up. This is a heavy float, so it's going to have a time doing that. Trying to get over 618, which apparently was a bit of resistance yesterday. The high from yesterday, though, being 622, and I have a upside target on this one at 625. So we might see 625 in Lumen, LUMN.
Okay. MNTS so far stalling at its VWAP. We'll check that out. Here is Lumen. Jay Rice, good morning. TNA strong here today. This is your small cap bull 3X. That's great for my swing account. Literally great. Rippin DT, love this comment here. SQNS, 39 million shares have traded. The float is 58 million shares. Wait for the float to flip. Rippin DT, love that call.
I like that.
Love that call.
All right, AIRI. I had it on my screen because I was waiting to see if this red candle we're getting right now would show a bit of reversing. Where exactly was that level? That I forget who had it, but they were saying that the AIRI might drop, and they were looking for.
Let me see if I can find that here for you.
Yeah, thank you. Kava Beastie. Oh yeah,
Kava really is. I just can't buy it after this run. I can't do it. I can't do it. It is way too extended. That thing is really going to come. I said yesterday on Happy Hour that actually reminds me of GoPro's move after its IPO.
Watch this thing go up to 126.
At this point, I wouldn't even be shocked if that happened.
126.
I can't find that comment, by the way. I'm sorry. 13.
No worries. No worries. No worries.
Hang on. Let me take out the trash real quick. Okay. All right. Let's keep rolling. GDC
is taking off.
And going higher here. Let's see what 12 gives us.
Looks like it's about to enter. Well, maybe not. Looked like we were going to enter a halt there in just a moment. We are also about 21 minutes away from Powell speaking.
APDN, some consolidation here around its VWAP. Let's see if we can go higher here. Jay asking about IOVA, saying this is breaking out. Let's continue. 12 spot here. That was such a good call, Jay. I got to start following more of your trades, Jay.
IOVA is
I don't do it enough.
Girlfriend. We used to trade this one. Oh, that's great. Look at that. It went right to 12.15. I had that marked off there because we traded this before.
Oh yeah.
This is all my levels for this one are much lower than this 12.15. 12.15 I think is the last one I have. Yep. So this is I need to make some new levels in IOVA.
Here goes GDC continuing to push higher here. Denison Mines higher here. CCJ higher here. I do like CCJ to the long side.
Is Lumen breaking out now? Yes, sir. Broke through that 625, taking it to 655. Next upside target, 680.
SQNS is open. I'm not buying that Lumen stick. Wait for that to come back in. SQNS open here and moving up off of its VWAP.
Not sure.
I kind of want to try it. If it can hold this. We'll see. What do you think? Got some strength here on SQNS. I was hoping the volume would be a little bit higher, I suppose.
That's kind of where I'm at. Like the volume doesn't look great right now. So
no, it really doesn't. Ryan, SQNS too toppy. See, I think that you're not. The more I look at this and we don't get the volume flowing in here, Tuna, I think that you're probably right about that. Because I really want to see these buyers being aggressive, but we're not seeing that often. Here we go. Now we're pulling back. Okay. Sick. All right, let's go back to Lumen because that was a big candle. Obviously, I don't think really think you should be chasing these candles. Oh, we're halted. No, we're not. It's still trading. I beg your pardon. I'm sorry about that. We are not halted. I apologize. APDN getting multiple mentions from multiple members. Let's go.
Jay Harris was also asking about Tesla numbers. Line Atlas provided a level there. Another thing I'd look at with Tesla is that you're kind of seeing the price between the 20-day SMA and the 50-day SMA. I'd be looking at those for resistance and support. And whichever one falters, I think that's the direction you're going to end up going for a time.
APDN is in fact breaking out here. We just took out the intraday highs, 230, the next breakout spot. A lot of size there. It's getting hit.
PRTG pushing.
It's getting hit and refilled. 230. You know what? Let's see what happens if this actually falls. Oh man, are they refilling it? I think maybe if this breaks it and goes, they yank it. Careful. I would sell into this pop. If you're long this and you have some gains and this pops higher, this might be a good spot to at least lighten some of it. Taking just about a third. Sorry, PRTG.
Yeah, this one popped, and it's
there's AP. I'm sorry to interrupt you again, man. APDN just took out 230, 232 high. Would have expected a higher pop than that. We'll see if this pulls back here. Sorry, 13. Here is PRTG.
Yeah, this one's trying to push up into its is this after hours? Yeah.
Oh man, this was so good.
Market high.
Someone else called this too.
771. It's trying to push up to. It looks like. Remember this one. They need to. They have all those cash that they need to raise. They still have to do that reverse split. So, one to be careful with. Of course. Yeah,
we'll say here this Jay's life here. Really sweet call on this one. This was battling right at the VWAP when you had called this earlier, and now we're getting that push away. Really good stuff there. Really good stuff there. GDC is halted. I'm hearing. Well, there's a lot of stuff going on here. Halted to the downside. Look at that pullback on GDC. Did they cancel their TikTok account? Asking for a friend.
Looks like PRTG trying to get through 6 here, and it did.
Jay, taking a look at Kava as that continues higher here. My goodness, Kava. People love their Mediterranean food. There is one not terribly far from me, probably about a half hour. I might go try it out just to see what all the hubbub is about.
Oh, great job with Kratos. Kratos. Great job with that. SQNS, this is really starting to come down now. Let's see what kind of support we get from the 65 EMA on the 5-minute, which I have at just under 120.
Also 129, maybe 125. That 125 to 129 area might provide it some support. I see a little bit of stuff there on the ladder, but I don't know. We'll see on SQNS. Let's wait for that to actually come back down. I'm not trying to buy a knife on some piece of junk like that. NVIDIA here, this traded up out of the gate, pulling back to the VWAP. How did some of the other tech names look in that regard?
All Mag 7s are up right now.
Okay, there you go. Thank you, 13. You're literally like reading my mind.
You said NVIDIA, and the first thing I think about is just all the other Mag 7. All right, so GDC.
Well,
now
remind us what they are, Tuna. Remind us what they are, Tuna. We don't have a steel trap memory. I'm going to see if I can go find them. SQNS. Yeah. Okay. So support 125 and 115 is the Tuna support levels. Awesome. How's FFIE doing? Is that breaking down yet?
It's kind of hanging out there.
Okay, so we snapped the VWAP to the downside. Let's see if we are able to take that on the way back now. Here's Lumen, continuing to move higher here on Lumen.
It's oddly specific, but I think around 928, you're going to see some support for FFIE. If not, then it'd probably be closer to 9 flat.
APDN continues to go here. Again, at this point, folks, this is all about where are you taking your profits? I really don't think this is a buyable move right here. You should already be in this. As Jay was saying earlier, maybe a trim and trail on this. I would definitely be 250. Who called the 250 spot earlier? Was that Tuna? Yep. APDN 250 top. We printed 252 here. Let's see if that's it. We're pulling off that spot, Tuna. Just saying, dude.
PRTG still trying to push higher and doing so. This has a pre-market high of 771. Certainly could get up there given this volume holding up here. So something to watch for. I don't know what happens at 771. I don't know if you break through or reverse, but definitely got that level on my my target.
PRTG looks like we're pulling back now.
little bit, yeah. Just needs to watch for the VWAP hold. If we don't hold VWAP, then we're probably going to end up down underneath 5 handle.
Kava here, blue sky territory, says Jay. Robert saying Kava off the open was a great trade. I mean, if you, I guess, I think that pullback to the VWAP here and then the move higher is probably a little bit better entry. That actually coincided with yesterday's after hours high that it was unable to get out of. I think there's going to be a big down move here for Kava at some point. I just can't tell you when it is, and it's obviously not today. SQNS at VWAP, Robert, I appreciate you.
We just had the day open, so I mean, we still could reverse. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I mean like a substantial pullback. Like, I don't think the stock's actually worth $120, dude.
Yeah, I mean, RSI is already over 80, so you know this thing is super overbought. And you know, I thought, I'm just joking around, but I thought you liked floating islands.
Yeah, I do, but I mean, at this point, yeah, no, I can't. Look, if that's an error in how, or if that's a negative of how I trade, where I just can't buy stuff that's just completely ramped that huge, it is what it is. We'll find other stuff.
I'm not buying up here either. This is, I mean, I agree that the trade at the open was a good move. I mean, shoot, you're up 14%. How is it not? But yeah, I think this is super extended. It would, I could see this getting up to somewhere between 124 and 126.
Yeah, me too.
And then it would just absolutely take it down, because this thing is trading in a broadening wedge, and it's a rising broadening wedge. So after we hit that the next high and it starts trading down, I think we're going to fall out of that wedge, and it's going to probably go under 70.
SPY trying to go higher here ahead of Powell. New highs on SPY.
PRTG still trying to push up. Yeah. That's probably what's going to happen. They're going to push the whole SPY up, and then he's going to start talking, and everybody's going to just jump out.
SMCI, what's that doing, Robert? Just popped a little bit here on SMCI. NVIDIA call flow, I see. What's NVIDIA doing? Right to the highs. That call flow is telling you that's got some strength here early on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this could continue to go up until right into earnings.
Comp saying Kava short on Comp. I hope you bank off that. I hope you get a new car for you and your wife just from that trade alone, honestly.
Oh, yeah. Look at GDC. Good mention there, Shaka. This thing now halted, I think, for the second time. It halted for that first big knife, and then it unhalted, and then it halted again for the second one. I believe that's what's going on here. Let me double check the halts. Yeah, it looks like it just hasn't. I just don't see it on the news feed yet that it's a second halt, but that is what it should be.
FFIE continuing to come in a little bit. Kava above 117. ARQT getting mentioned by Webcoin. ARQT, look at this move. This is a bounce too, isn't it? This thing was down. Yeah. Yeah, this is here. Let me actually back out a little bit here. Change time frames. Yep. Nice bounce here on ARQT, pretty much taking us right back to where we started.
This is a massive short squeeze
on ARQT.
Yeah. 23 and a half of the float shorted with 11.6 days to cover.
Oh God. Okay. Thank you, Pro. A quarter of this float is shorted. No green stocks on the relative volume scanner. Tesla at the highs.
Zim going green. You know what?
Is it really?
There's been some news. I know that there was a Houthi strike on a tanker ship that caused a bit of an environmental issue. I think that might still be ongoing. But yeah, now there's been a Houthi attack on well, they've been attacking ships in there, but they actually struck one, and it's been causing some problems in the I think near Djibouti. I'd have to double check all that, but I know that there's been some hits going on. At least one of those ships passing through the Red Sea.
APDN continuing to push that 250 spot. Boy, they just brought in big size there, 250 on the offer, on the ask, excuse me.
certainly does look like things are slowing down, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. That happened pretty quickly there. APDN, there we go. They just took it. Wonder if they pull this now. 260's got a little bit of size, but that's nothing compared to what just got hit. Now they're bringing in size at 158. That's taken. Refilled. Oh, man, there's a seller here that is refilling this. Here we go. Pulling off that spot, APDN. And I can't get a read on this. This, to me, looks like it wants to go down. It just keeps pushing the highs. Rippin' DT. It's Friday. Indeed it is, my man. Indeed it is. And just in case you were wondering, I'm extremely excited for tomorrow.
I think he's referring to the slowdown in trading that we're seeing. And,
yeah, he is.
The weekend, on Fridays, you are going to see a slowdown. But I think today in particular, everybody not wanting to open or handle positions while Powell can effectively take down the market. Or he can make it rip. We'll have to wait and see. Wait and see what he's going to end up doing. And when if he's going to say things that the market's not going to like, the market might actually really sell off. APDN next up. APDN. Let's see here. Well, this is higher than most levels. It looks like 285 could be a. Yeah. Okay. So you got that APDM at 285 from the 19th high. Looks like. What was that? Monday? Yes.
Sorry, handling something here on the side.
No worries. I'm answering my own question. APDN, that slowing down here. Looks like there's a little bit of a wall for it to get through at 260. Look at these the other ones here. Lumen. Lumen might be interesting if it can find support pretty soon. I think if we start going under 640, it might we might not have this bull flag that formation resolve here like we have going on right now. SQNS, that one looks like it's actually turning around and trying to
here.
recapture.
Let me put that on screen.
BWAP.
Sorry about that.
No worries. That's trying to recapture BWAP. GDC back from the dead. Is that what I'm seeing here? It doesn't quite look. No, it doesn't look like. Yeah, it's unhalted. That's one thing that happened. We're down to 65 EMA on the 5-minute. Let's see if it gets support from that there. If not, then I would think maybe the 200, which is down at 670. It looks like GDC is probably going to halt again.
Okay.
To the
SQN. So SQNS. So what do we think here? Now that we cross back through the VWAP to the upside, do we have the strength that we need or nah? Nah. Let's take a look at GDC here real quick. I shouldn't even be laughing. Someone's probably hurting from that. APDN says stuff your 250 high. We go higher.
Although, is it going to be zero? I mean, oh, look at this thing sell off.
Apollo is selling off?
Yeah, it is right now. Rustin, I saw you were taking some more profit this morning, so I'm glad this is working out. And, I'm probably just going to hold on to this because I don't think that the whole big move is done yet, but we'll see. This is just what remember, this is a lottery ticket. So the fact that it's already up as much as it is great. I'm actually up 68%. It was higher earlier, but hey, I'm not complaining. This is just a BS trade, and it's working. Even though I think it should not have. It is.
Hey, if you find a pattern, no matter how silly it is, if it works, that's all that really matters, right? You're trying to trade patterns.
Yeah.
Robert saying on APDN 275 is going to be your pivot there. By the way, whoever was trading Tesla here, I know Lynn and Randy, you're on your travels across the country. Good luck and stay safe. Our Tesla traders. Tesla actually looks like this is going to try and go higher here. Remember, we really sold off yesterday on Tesla, so it looks like we're kind of retracing some of that move here today.
Speaking of going higher, APDN now approaching that 285 level that I was talking about, and also who that
This is just
talking about.
This is crazy. Crazy move here, folks. Book yo gains. Book yo gains. I mean, I'm trying, dude. It's a Friday. I'm trying to live it up in here.
Oh, that's funny. That made me laugh. Looks like PRTG is trying to turn around after testing VWAP.
Amanda coming in with the big size 10,200 puts. Oh, 10,200. This monitor, the way I have like the chat laid out, it's on a monitor that I like make a lot of mistakes when I look at numbers. And I literally thought there was a comma there. I'm dumb. Sorry.
Can you explain Jackson Hole? It's an economic symposium. They're basically just going to be talking.
Also, it's in Wyoming, which is gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I'm a really the greatest person to explain what they're doing there, but anything like that, all the comments that are going to come out there are going to move the market, and I think that's the big takeaway.
I'll tell you what I'd be doing if I was there. I would be taking, like right now, if I was there today, right now, what time is it out there? It's almost 9 here Central Time. So it's what, 7 there, 8? I'd be gearing up for a day-long hike. Get the go bag, get out there. It's awesome out there.
ASTS blasted off to 3680. Now it's turning around, coming back in the test VWAP. Robert mentioning Rocket Lab.
RKLB. I don't see any setups here that I really like, to be honest.
Burning up the fuse up here alone. Rocket Lab.
Did not have that on my bingo card this morning.
Oh, man. So, yeah, it looks like this had a really, this really sold off out of the open, down to 676, recovered, and we're about to get back into the 7 handle here if it can break over this wall at 7. Do you think ASTS and Rocket Labs would be neat options through launch? Now, we're talking about the ASTS launch, because I don't think Rocket Labs has anything to do with that. I believe ASTS is tapping SpaceX to launch those satellite clusters. Okay, here we go. We are a minute away. Well, yeah, they do move together, kind of, and some maybe even slightly inversely when it comes to lunar. But that might be a good idea, because if they're all gonna move together, one going down or getting taken down by the sale from the launch, sure, the others could too. So it might. I think Shaka's right. It might be a good idea to sell before the launch, but I don't think Rocket Lab has any skin in the game with that launch. But to the relationship side, I think you might be right. All right, now the market has taken off.
Market popping here. Did he start speaking? There's somebody up here.
Taking off in anticipation of him talking. How about that?
I wonder, does anyone think that we're kind of setting us up for a, well, I guess not. I guess maybe some of this stuff is leaked here. They're just not thinking it's going to hit hard. Shout out. Sorry. Shout out to our guest on pre-market prep this morning. Had a chart prepared for how the market does since Powell took over and does these symposiums at Jackson Hole. Think that the takeaway from that, and someone that was in pre-market prep, let me know. Takeaway from that was that it was, if it's good, it's going to go up, or most of the time it goes up a little bit, but when it's bad, boy, it really sells off.
It's not because of Powell. It's the new home sales. That's why we're getting this spike.
Well, David Lynn saying the minutes are out.
The minutes? What we got out earlier this week?
I'm just reading what David put in the chat. He didn't have any other context there.
No, but the new home
Powell
sales
is speaking. Yes, Jay Harris. Powell is speaking.
The new home sales month over month for July, 10.6% versus 1% estimated. Homes be selling.
Big beat there.
Yeah.
And then the new home sales for July, 739,000 versus the 624,000 estimate. The prior read was 668. That was revised down.
And there's still buyers sitting on the sidelines waiting for rates to go even lower. ARQT, this looks like it wants to take out 10 here in just a bit.
SPY still pushing up. Boy, am I glad I'm not short at the moment. I didn't even have a short on as a hedge, thankfully.
Oh, wow. These are all,
man, oh, my God. The swing account is loving Daddy Powell right now. I mean, I don't even know how else to say it, folks. I really don't.
It's Friday. He'll have the whole weekend to think about it. APD is popping some more. Zim is pushing over the 200 EMA. Oh,
13.
Oh, yeah. SOUN. Nice mention, because that one has been looking pretty good this week and kind of under our radar. Okay, so this one likes to go back and forth so much.
Ryan, turn off the machines. Stay focused as if I had control over that. Amanda, Daddy Powell and Big Mama Apple would make some ugly babies. Oh, God. You ever get that feeling in your cheeks when you're just laughing so hard? It's like, oh, man, that's good stuff. Uh-oh.
Maybe the market sells off as soon as he's done talking. We've seen that happen before, too. Look at Lunar. That's trying to get the pre-market high of 537. We're almost there. Oh, even Hollow decided it's going to turn around. Jeez.
Bros pop. Everything's popping. This is awesome. Even Portillo's? What? Bitcoin's popping.
All right.
This is sweet. This is sweet. I mean, no pullbacks. Market's probably going to set some new highs here.
Oh, gosh.
No more pullbacks, bro.
Do you ever have that feeling just, either in the pit of your stomach or the back of your head or wherever it hits you that, as soon as this whole thing is over, that the market's going to be like, thank you very much, and then just crater? That's not the first time it would have happened.
Look at APDN. This stock is absolutely vertical right now. Just completely vertical. On the loose is what he wrote, but he meant on the loose. That's what's going on here. 350. Let's see if it stops there.
Yeah, I'm surprised it hasn't halted yet.
It's been a fairly orderly move up, to be quite honest with you. In my junk portfolio, the screen is green. Why is this? Honestly, this is one of those days, well, at least right now, this snapshot in time, if the stocks that you have are red, you're in the wrong ones. Because I'm looking across my screen here, big cap, small cap, don't matter. Everything is moving up. Yeah, everything is that's wild.
Oh gosh.
I'm here for it though.
I have to quote Han Solo. I have a bad feeling about this.
You have to do it like I have a bad feeling about it. I should get that on the
there you go.
I should get that on the soundboard there.
Yeah, I mean, long-term accounts looking like really good right now, but at the same time, like this, it doesn't seem real.
It's just because we're both kind of expecting at some point the market really kind of needs to take a break and come in. And we feel like that's overdone here. But remember, the market can be irrational longer than you can remain solvent.
Challenge accepted.
Sell alert received on APDN. Challenge accepted. Okay. You let me know how that one goes. More NVIDIA calls, by the way. We've seen call sweepers hit NVIDIA multiple times already this morning.
You'll know if I never see me again.
What's that?
No, I was just talking about the joke. Anyway, Clove up more. Thanks, Funky. IOVA popped over that 12.15 that I had, got up to 12.20 and came back in. APDN.
Kava's going for 120. Look at this.
Yeah. Okay.
Jay Rice, were you in Kava still? Were you playing this one to the long side? Because gosh, man, if you were, that was crazy. Really good move. Kava might print 120s today.
I think it could get as high as 124 to 126, to be honest.
Yeah.
And if we get that, then I would 100% be taking my profits at that point. 100%.
You think Nvidia bounces out after this pullback here?
Let me take a look at it.
It's already doing it.
Do I think it bounces after the pullback?
Yeah,
What time frame are you looking at?
I'm going to try just the 3 minute. I'm going to try a little right here. I'm going to see if we go back towards those highs here on Nvidia. Long Nvidia here, just a scalp. It's actually feeling a little toppy here at 128. And just, literally, as I say that, it blows through 128. But it yanked. So let's see. On Nvidia. This, to me, we already kind of waited one pullback out. This came back towards the VWAP. Didn't quite get there. Let's see if we go higher here on Nvidia, though. Looking around. Everything's still higher.
Yes, everything is still extended. I agree. I'm sorry, what? Look at APDN now. Ooh, going right back down to the VWAP, almost there. Seeing some selling in these moves.
Here comes Nvidia. I'm actually going to put a stop out here.
Looks like Momentous has turned around, trying to go higher. SQNS, that's trying to recover.
Can I move this? Yeah, I can. May actually move these stops up a little bit here. Boop, boop, boop.
ASTS hits 37.10. That's coming in a little bit. GDC may have found a bottom.
Nvidia continuing to go here. I'm actually just going to cancel this order. I don't really think we're going to need it. Let's see if we can break the top off here on Nvidia. Thanks, Watch, for telling me to get up. I'm in the middle of something here. See if we can break the top off there on Nvidia. Can it hold? This comes back in. I just want to book it. Get green on the screen to start with here.
I like the way that New York Community Bank is moving.
NYCB?
Yes, right.
Yes, right. Is that a Texas thing?
No.
Damn.
That was me getting two words and causing a
been there before. Been there before. All right, Nvidia, are you going to retrace some of this stick or are you going to go higher? Let's see. I feels like just kind of like the gut feeling that I have is that it wants to push higher, but if it comes back in, we'll just book it in green on the screen. What happened?
Oh, Amanda's comment. It's funny because it's true.
Sorry, I'm locked in on Nvidia here. Let's see if we go. Here we going. Let's go, Nvidia. Let's go.
She says watching stocks with 13 is like taking my grandmother grocery shopping. They want how much for cream cheese? Ridiculous.
That's good. 129 coming up here on Nvidia, folks. 129.
Don't worry, I probably won't be saying that much when we get.
I'm actually just going to close this right here. 1 for 1. I'm sure we'll get another setup here on some of these things. Let's see if Nvidia comes back in.
Been a good week for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has.
Even if it's a shorter week.
What?
Even if it was a shorter week.
Well, that's part of the reason it was good. Anytime you golf during the week, things are generally speaking pretty good. And that has held true again. Apple at the highs, Bitcoin at the highs.
Yeah, because the SPY is taking off. Just look at the daily chart here. See what our levels look like.
Fed's Powell, quote, inflation has declined significantly, much closer to our objective, end quote.
You don't say. Not you.
I guess we should just buy everything again, right? We just keep ripping here.
All right.
APDN coming back to, oh my God, oh my God. See, we were telling you, sell into that up move. Sell into that up move. Tuna, you think we bounce here? You say it's coming back into the VWAP, but the entry is 250. Okay. Keep an eye out for that.
Oh, okay, because it's going to flush and then recapture it. See that happen a lot.
Jay, I'm going to take a look at this. Jay Rice. Kava, not always, but more often than not, when you have a 10% move or more short interest, and the stock starts going past its expected move of 11, you have a big squeeze. Interesting.
PRC
Interesting stat there. Sorry.
Don't worry, PRTG pushing, trying to get back above VWAP.
That did just take out VWAP, didn't it? On this candle, it did. NVIDIA, we'll bring it up here. It did go higher. Look, we did get above that 129. I sold short, or I didn't sell short. I sold a little early there just to make sure I booked it. But hey, at least we got green on the screen. Lion saying, Ryan, I feel like NVIDIA is going to blow the top on earnings. I think that too. In fact, didn't we just talk about this yesterday, or was it the Tuesday that we talked about this on Happy Hour, where we wouldn't be shocked if NVIDIA releases this glowingly awesome report, goes up, and then all of a sudden craters shortly after that.
That's kind of what I'm expecting. I don't know that people are going to want to hang out up here for another quarter, but I've been wrong about the NVIDIA trade.
Yeah, and maybe so have I, and maybe we get to sell the news or sell the market post-election. Who knows? Ryan, do you believe NVIDIA will retrace? Yeah, I mean, I thought that it might pull back here. We've actually seen multiple pullbacks in the regular session to the VWAP here, so I wouldn't be shocked if that happened again. But honestly, looking at the indexes, Qs, SPY, and then NVIDIA itself, clearly I piked that and was out a little too early there. Because it's gone higher. I mean, 129 initially was where we were kind of looking to take that. I think I took it at 128.80 something. So it wasn't that far off, but we have some continuation here on NVIDIA. Market is looking strong too. And actually, if you take a look, let me bring up SPY. We'll take a look at some of those volume sticks and see what that looks like. So volume is dying off here as we continue to move up. So maybe we are near the top end of that. But this was a good move. I mean, you can't argue with it. This was a good move higher, especially for those that were long. My big concern is, are we creating a bull trap, right? Are we creating so much, hey, everything's good, everything's great. Everyone flips bullish and gets slaughtered on the other side? I hope not.
Brittany Tall asking about, what do you guys think of CIEN? So this is a communications equipment company. They do networking. This is probably going to be on the data center side of things. So it'd be one of those plays. Looking at their income statements, they seem to be profitable, but they just had a quarter that was where they lost money. I don't have a read on this company. I haven't done enough research on it, but they seem to be pretty good. They have a lot of cash on hand, and they appear to be a real business. The reason why it's moving today, I'm not sure. I mean, it's the whole market's kind of moving. They recently got a $65 price target raise yesterday by Sienna. Funny. And
lol.
Yeah, and so as far as I can tell here, I think this is just going to be one of those data center plays, and they just had a bad quarter. I don't know when that ER was. Let me double check here. That was back in June. So it's been some time since then. I can see that. Oh, I see it now.
Real quick here, CIEN. This is also the data center angle that you're talking about. This is also kind of a thing behind the thing, as they do the hardware and software and infrastructure stuff for that. Really like that. Couple of things to note here. This is I'm sorry for using this term, but this is really what came to mind right away. This is kind of a sexy spot right here, to be quite honest with you. Taking a look, its market cap 7.8 billion, has almost $1 billion in revenues. Really not even that expensive, and given where we're at right now with everything, that's saying something. Analysts really kind of like this overall. Got a grade rating here at 80. So pretty good stuff across the board here. You want to take a look at this chart. Boy, this daily formation, this sure looks like this wants to take off a little bit more. I would imagine if it can get above this 57, 70, 57, 3/4, 58 level, we probably test 63, 64 in there. We'll see. We are about to go into oversold, so maybe this would benefit from consolidating a little bit. Maybe having some of these moving averages curl up. We are a little bit extended from the 200-day. I'll tell you what, this chart, some of the stats that we just looked at, it looks like this wants to go higher. Yeah, no position for me, but now you got me thinking about it. Maybe calls or something.
Looks like Lumen is putting in a bit of a formation here that could take it up to 160. I'm sorry, 674 again. And there was another one I was just looking at that was interesting too. So PRTG, that one also looks like it's trying to get back up over 7. As long as it holds a VWAP, that it has a good chance of doing that. FFIE, this thing is done.
Bryce, so real quick. So Bryce, I appreciate this insight. Bryce saying, so you guys know I'm a CISO. I manage infrastructure. Just be careful. Look at how the company is competing with Azure and AWS. Bryce, what I would say here is, can you use your expertise to shed some light on that for us? What do you think here and why? And Amanda saying, no one competes with AWS, you silly goose. Did not have silly goose on my bingo card today either. Today is really turning out to be an awesome day, and it's early.
Isn't I don't know that. Well, you can tell me, since you're a CISO, Bryce. When it comes to this hardware that the CN, I believe, is what they offer, their networking hardware, I guess software as well, but I don't think Amazon Web Services covers all of this, right? So I would just think that this is more on the kind of like the infrastructure side. But you tell me.
Powell's done already?
Wow. Okay. So what's the market doing now?
Selling off.
Just like I thought.
Oh.
We'll see if it's a sustained sell-off or not. It might just be a pullback.
Oh,
but,
man.
We've seen that,
Brian looking
before.
for a Jackson hole-in-one. Sydney, I mean, you must have spent days coming up with that one. That was pretty spectacular. We out here, folks.
All right. So looking like all those plays we were talking about now looking weaker. We're going to get this sustained sell-off. It's pretty big move down off of that high. We got up to what, 563, and now we're under 561.
SPY right back down here to the VWAP. Boop. APDN, smoke tuna. Oops, all he had to do was speak for like 30 minutes, but he stopped after 13. Mel, you're the first person that I've heard. Okay, I appreciate you saying this. Doesn't sound like a September rate cut. What do you folks think about that? What do you think about that? APDN, by the way, this curl, smoke tuna, I know you said entry there about 250, but boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy. I mean, this was really kind of coming in. All right. But let's talk about the broader market here. Okay. What do we think is going to happen next? I thought your question here was interesting. No cut. Okay. Juan saying no cut. So that was my initial call here, was no cut. And I've stayed with it despite the build for, hey, we should probably cut. I'm going to stick with it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. We'll see. But I'm curious now. Now we get more people coming out of the woodwork here. Love it. Oh boy, we're getting all types of input. What do you think, 13?
Oh, you know what I think.
You think that they should have cut already?
I think they should have cut already.
Okay.
I know that there's a lot of people that disagree with me on that, but it's
bloodshot. No, we got more no cuts in September.
PRTG, that one trying to push up here. It looks like trying to get through 675.
We have a setup here. We have a trade setup on PRTG.
Yeah,
if you're going to trade this break higher, here you go. I'm going to pass on the break higher, especially with the market pulling back here. 560 on the SPY, by the way. Q's coming into the VWAP as well. No cut, push to December. Dude, so the varying opinions that we're getting in the chat right now is one of the crispiest things. This is exactly what makes a market, and I absolutely am here for it. I'm absolutely here for it.
Yeah, it was funny because I don't think it was just this week. There's a lot of articles and experts talking about 3 rate cuts in light of the jobs revision. It's funny how short of a memory the market has.
Yes, it is.
You know how many times we've changed the stance on how many rate cuts we're getting this year? We started off the year with 3. And we went down to 1 and then 0, and we thought 0 for a while, and then we went back to 1, and now we're back to 3, back to 1. This market whips around more than this summer trading does.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. We got another call in here telling you sell gold. Grant doesn't like gold long here. Grant, are you thinking sell as in maybe open up a short here, or are you saying sell as in maybe book your gains here on gold? Because we had a nice move up here in gold. I love it. I love it. DRK, 0 rate cuts this year. I love how all over our chat is right now. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, and then they're exactly, Robert. JPM private client group is forecasting 3 cuts. We're all over the place. Oh my gosh, look at PRTG go. Woohoo! The little Mario.
Oh, look at that break. Look at that break. Who gave us this trade setup? Who gave us this trade setup? Ring that register, baby. Let's go. Nice job trading that. I took that off my screen. Really good job there, group. That's what I'm talking about. Comp, how you doing over there? Drinks on tuna tonight. Actually, no joke. No joke. Tuna's literally printing money in here for the rest of the chatters. Absolutely. You love to see it. You just love to see it. I love this comment here. TE Central, he said, quote, the time has come for policy to adjust, end quote. So you're thinking we start up cuts here. Really, the question is going to be when, right? SPY, by the way, so I know we had that little bit of a pullback. SPY actually retracing that pullback. Sorry, I put the wrong ticker in here. Give me 1 sec. Here's your SPY move back to the highs, bouncing nicely here. What's the Qs doing? Same deal. Did we pop off on NVIDIA here? Here comes a 129 test again. There's a little bit of size there, but that can get steamrolled here for all of you taking NVIDIA higher.
PRTG 823 is a high now.
Mike saying Bears, LOL. Yeah, tough day for the market bears. Good day for the Chicago Bears, though. Here we go. 129 up on NVIDIA for all of you. We only did 1 trade on this here yet, or so far here today. SPY looking like it's going to try and take the top off there. Bitcoin bouncing as well. A lot of oscillation here. Or some of the other Mag 7s doing. That's not what I typed in. Come on now.
Now remember, we
Apple
have,
at the highs. Sorry, 13. Go ahead.
Remember, we have NVIDIA earnings on Wednesday, GDP report on Thursday, and PCE, the Fed's primary inflation gauge, on Friday. So we are getting data to supplement this. The comments that that Powell was making. So, if it's kind of in line with what they're looking for in terms of lowering inflation, I mean, we're 5% away from 2. I'm sorry, not 5%. We're 0.5% away from 2. So we're really pretty much on the doorstep. He has said earlier this year, I think it was back in either June or July, they're not going to wait for 2% before they start cutting. So we'll have to see if that's going to hold true or not.
Tesla here. This has actually been another good trade here off that VWAP. Looks like we kind of pushed, consolidated, and pushed off the VWAP again. That second trade, a little bit easier to hit there. Where are we at on Kava, by the way? Who's going to Kava today? Who's going to Kava to celebrate the move in Kava? Jay Rice, are you going to Kava to spend your Kava profits at Kava? 118. Yeah, didn't quite print 120, but we're not breaking down here yet.
He's not going to give all of those gains back.
Not all of them. You need a little food on the side there. Ain't no problem.
Yeah, did it hit 120? I think it was like just
no, it was just shy of it.
3 cents shy. Still think that 124 to 126 is possible, especially if the market's just kind of having no fear. Where are we at with the VIX, by the way? Let me double check that.
VIX here melted 1626, just complete meltdown from that Powell presser there. I love Kava. Look at no Kava around here. Robert, the nearest Kava to me is like 30 minutes. I might have to do that here.
Yeah, I think if we're going to see the market turn around, it's probably going to be next week.
Brittany, you like a long here on JPM. So you like a further JPM breakout, given all of that? What's going on with NVIDIA here? We did go above 129 again, and 129.40 going to be your high print there. Lower price stock, APDN. How did we do there? Boy, Smoke Tuna, I'll tell you what. We got a register ring. You've leveled up, and Chewbacca is thrilled with what's going on, Smoke Tuna. Just making the group money again. APDN, big bounce here. That first move was wild. But we got another attempt at it here.
ARQT, probably worth watching as well. I don't know that it's going to, have a huge move or not, but and it might be looks like it's starting to roll over a bit, but it could still just completely negate that and go right through 10 and higher. So I think it's at least worth watching.
Apple at the highs, boy. We still have a lot of pushing. What are you folks looking at for intraday setups here? Anybody got anything? Pan W not really responding to this. Just kind of looking around at anything. If the market breaks out, you think JPM would be good? Yeah, it probably is going to keep trading with it. Joel saying we're going to get a stock market freeze by 2 p.m. You just think that the participants are going to leave? Are you talking sell-off? What are you talking here?
I don't want to talk you out of your NVIDIA shares, Blind Atlas. I don't think we're going to start seeing that unwind until after the earnings.
GDC, maybe you do get a curl here. Google's going hard. We didn't even look at Google here today. Google's, I wouldn't call that going hard, but that's nice little trade up and a nice little move off the VWAP. MSTR, Jay?
Oh, yeah, because of the Bitcoin moving up.
Yep. And every move back down to VWAP on MSTR today, every one of them got bought, even on the backside. Let's see. Where does this? Yeah, even on the backside of the move, dip bought MSTR. After this, I'm going to need a damn shower. Your name is Pizza and Go Shorts. That might be the handle of the day. Honestly. NVIDIA's going. Okay, so we kept trading up from that 129 spot. I guess maybe I should have held on to that trade earlier. Are you asking me recently if I realized that we're over 126? I hope that's not what you're asking me, because of course I do. Pizza. You guys really brought it today. Love the energy. SPY continuing to go higher here. Let's see if a 563 pop happens on SPY. SQNS breaking away from the VWAP here. This to me, Smoke Tuna, let us know if this comes back. This to me too weak here. We can find something better. Even APDN looks more. Oh my God! It continues to move off that bounce. Gosh.
Yeah, just kind of looking around here, seeing what's setting up. It looked like SoundHound was trying to go for 515, almost there.
Hey, Joel, welcome. We appreciate you, my man. Let us know if there's a stock that you want us to break down or anything like that. Let us know what you think about this crazy Friday here. Normally, Friday is not the most active days, but today, you're really kind of putting it out there. You love to see it. You just love to see it.
And
go ahead, sorry.
ARQT, slightly higher, but still not with the a big move yet out of this consolidation. So, still kind of watching for that. Sorry, go ahead.
GDC, this is actually setting up for a trade. So if we break above this, do you think you could get a day trade here? The one thing Shaka, you really want to see some volume pour into this for this to kind of close the distance to the VWAP. Otherwise, you might get a head fake. We might break above one of those candles, look like we're going to keep curling and just not have the volume to juice it. We'll see if that turns around, though. Why is CMG not moving? That's actually a decent question. Given what a lot of these other stocks are doing, CMG really not moving. I would have thought that maybe that kind of moved off the Kava move here today.
CMG still having a hard time getting back over the 200-day SMA. That's what I'd want to see to get interested in going long for.
Oh God, look, dude! Tim Melvin gave us VLY yesterday, and look at the pop here today.
I know. Look at
the guy never misses.
Look at the NYCB. Oh yeah, even Richard saying NYCB. Yeah,
look at that.
I was picking this up yesterday when he was
Never
talking about that.
misses.
It was going down.
Never misses.
DC59 asking about Piton. I think we also saw a mention about that as well earlier. This one up yesterday and today, holding above the 200-day SMA, which is what you want to see. Thing is that this is still a pretty high RSI. If it can still continue to hold that 200-day SMA while cooling off, like maybe you start seeing a little more selling, but not too much to kind of cool off the RSI, you might get some more upside in that. It does have a gap to fill up in the above the 5 handle from let's see here, 530 to 556. So we continue to head up there and get into that gap. I think it fills. What happens after that? Not quite sure. We could reverse, but that's just one thing to keep an eye on.
Piton, I do think this stock is pretty garbo, to be quite honest with you, but you're absolutely right. This pop above the 435 200-day moving average, I think as long as you hold that, you could actually have several sessions where this might continue. I'd use that for a trading vehicle only, to be quite honest with you. Felicia saying, I bought VLY yesterday, but not enough. Yeah, it sure seems that way. Really timely buy on your part, though, Felicia. Nice move here. We just, oh God, we love seeing that for our group. We love seeing that for our group. Folks, if you like making money and you like having fun, in particular on a Friday, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe.
All right.
We really appreciate all of you.
ARQT. The moves aren't big, but they're what we were looking for. Looking for that move out of consolidation.
This was a nice bull flag that we just kind of broke out of.
A little bit, yeah. It looked a little sideways to me, but with the consolidation hanging out here above VWAP, I had a little bit more confidence that this was probably going to move up. But we're not getting the well, maybe we're about to get the big move, but I don't think the big move has happened yet. This is nice to see, but it's not what I was looking for. I was looking for a bigger move in this one, but maybe this hasn't happened yet.
Joel, this is something that I feel like I've been literally waiting for this for 2 years, maybe a year and a half at this point. It seems like people are rotating out of tech into small caps. This would be great for a number of reasons. Number one, I want more good stocks to trade. Like, I'm tired of just trading the 7 same bigger stocks. Would love to see some of this concentration really kind of distribute to different areas of the market. Small caps, you could see some really outsized gains. I am a little bit biased, you should know, because I do hold a lot of small caps in my portfolio. So giddy up if we're able to do that. And then the other thing that we've kind of talked about recently about pulling out of some of these tech high flyers that have been winners like NVIDIA, what's that going to do to the rest of the market? And there's got to be other names that they're going to go into. Small caps is definitely one of them, but maybe if we get some of these new IPOs that have to do with AI and stuff like that, you might see some inflows into that as well. So it'll be interesting to see what they bring out on an M&A front. I'm not sure if we get very many of those from here through the rest of the year, though.
IOVA, it's slowly moving up, but it's making some nice gains here. 1242, the current high.
What was the entry from our chat here? 10, 15, 10 teens, right? Was what the chat was calling here on IOVA. Yeah, I feel like this was last week. Nice little 2-point swing there, IOVA, directly from our chat. Again, I didn't take that one. Boy, you guys are amazing.
I don't really know if I could. Oh, well, thanks, Tom, for I don't really think I have an opinion on that. I'd love to hear from the chat.
Which one? Sorry,
Funky. He had an idea for October calls for Palantir. I don't have a thought on that, but because I think Palantir has been pretty extended. I would like to see it come in because I want to pick some up, but this the whole rebalance of the S&P. I don't know if that's going to happen with them, but it might. I just don't have a big opinion on that right now. So I'm sorry I couldn't provide some feedback on that.
I'm still salty on Palantir. Straight up, I'm salty. I think that if we do pull, I'm serious. I think if we do pull back here towards the 50-day, which is about 27.5, might take a little nibbler there. Wouldn't be shocked if we came in a little bit more. Honestly, though, really, we've talked about this a lot. Adding this in the low 20s was the move, especially for the long-term trade on this one. Like Felicia was saying earlier, just didn't add enough. Just simply did not add enough.
Well, ZS, We use Benzinga Pro, but if if you don't have a particular service that you use, you can Google economic reports.
No, here,
calendar.
I'll show you. I'll show you. What you need to do is Google Benzinga Pro. And if you don't have, Benzinga Pro yet, you need to talk to James from our team because he can hook you up. And by the way, you can also start with so let me go back to the trading platform here. You can also start with a free trial too. So we have a calendar here. I'll show you that here in a sec. APDN, I want to go through some of the stocks that are moving, but I'll get back to you here. I'll get back to you, I promise. APDN, what do we think? Do we take that off? Do we take out that high?
At this point, I would say that it's entirely possible. It's looking like it's making its way up there to that 354. Just need to see a bit more volume expansion because as soon as we get up to 350, there's a lot of sell orders in the way there. So volume's going to have to expand in order to get through that, in my opinion.
Okay, so who was that? ZS is asking, where do you find a calendar of events that impact the stock market? Okay, here in Benzinga Pro, our calendar tool is complete boss mode. I have it set to analyst ratings right now, so you're getting all of the new analyst changes from today. But if we simply use the dropdown and select economics, we can get an entire list of economic events, and not just for the US, but also for the entire world. As you can see here, I've got this sorted on Fed, so I'm going to get all of these at the top here. All of those economic events were in there. And of course, if you want, you can filter as well. So if you want to remove some of those other countries, that's available to you here. Shout out BZ Pro. It'll answer all of the questions that you have. Let's go back to the scanner that we're actually using here. APDN continuing to push. What did you say, wow, on?
There was a mention by multiple people that ASTS is selling off, and it certainly is. Looks like it's headed towards, at the very least, 32. That seems to be that from previous days this week that's about where the the stock had bottomed at. I have 32.43 for the 21st, which was Wednesday, and 31.91 on the 20th.
Straight down is right. I actually think that this could find some support in a 31 handle. We actually consolidated there for 2 days, which for ASTS is something else.
Well, let's also see if there's a news headline too. Maybe there's a delay in the launch.
Yeah, I've got nothing here on the news yet. Yeah, I don't have anything yet here.
Yeah, and it was like this thing was just so.
Still seeing NVIDIA calls come across the unusual option scanner. By the way, still seeing that. I've seen multiple sweeps, and actually, I'm also seeing people buy Astis calls into this pull, although they're not huge. That those aren't kind of cheapies on those calls. Still aggressive buys, though.
Yeah, ASTS was really overbought, but they do have a good upcoming catalyst next month that I believe is also going to be a sell the news event.
SPY, by the way, on that pullback here, let me actually bring that up. SPY on that pullback really kind of stopped at this 561 level. This is going to be one of your pivot levels here for the day. If you use Person's pivots, the resistance 1 area here is right here at 561. Amanda saying NVIDIA has better options liquidity than SPY and the Qs right now. That's a good guy. That's normally the case. DC59 saying Fubo for next week. What's the catalyst here, DC? What are you thinking on Fubo? What's the reason for this to be something to look at next week?
I know they had recent news with their TV segment. I think they were, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're kind of taking over some market share of some of these more legacy TV companies, right? I think that's kind of what ultimately this recent move in Fubo TV's been happening. I remember when it moved. I just don't exactly remember the reason why it was moving. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, this was what, August 15th?
Yeah.
We had a rumor, shares spike higher as traders circulate headlines saying Fox, Disney, Warner Sports Service blocked for now in Fubo win. Oh, that's right. They got that court. They got that court tailwind. That's right. Good call. You weren't wrong. What are you talking about? Yeah.
I don't remember the exact headline. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
ARQT.
That's why we have BZ Pro to remind us of those.
ARQT could not get any higher than that 1061. I had mentioned that it's not the move I wanted to see, and that slow move, that weak move now coming back into that consolidation. So VWAP's going to have to hold this up. I don't know that it will. MACD is showing that this could end up going lower.
ARQT, that initial move was pretty much it. This consolidation here maybe gave you a little bit of crumbs, but the bigger move here was an APDN. That initial spike was great. The VWAP test bounce was great. Multiple moves here. APDN. STEM getting called in the chat. Do we have a setup here on STEM? We got a rip here on STEM. I don't know if there's a opportunity to buy this up here. I wouldn't chase this. 77 cents on this penny stock. 104 going to be your 50-day moving average. This gap on the daily fills at what? 96? So definitely some more room intraday here on STEM. I'm going to pass on the penny stock.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, Jay Rice. It's junk.
Yeah.
Making 4 cents a glass quarter. Yeah, I've never really liked Fubo. I remember, gosh, back in, was it 2020, 2021, when that's when it IPO'd or SPAC'd. I'm trying to remember what it was.
That was a FinTwit favorite for the longest time, Fubo.
Yeah. So, never been really a fan of that one. Could be good one day, but I don't know when that is.
Hims curling back up. Jay Rice, I think you mentioned VKTX earlier. So is the love handle trade stocks doing all right? How's Lily doing today? Lily's still holding up here. Down a little bit, but holding up here. Buck's asking, is QQQ a good stock? Well, it's actually an ETF. Is it good though? I mean, it is. We watch it all the time. It's tradable. It's liquid, so it can be really good for trading back and forth, especially if you have an angle on technology or a feeling on technology. But it is an ETF here that mirrors the NASDAQ.
Yep.
Hollow.
Well,
You guys mentioned in Hollow again. Let's see if this gets above the veil. Let's pump the brakes here on Hollow a little bit. Hollow, YOLO, JOLO. Oh, solar is ripping, huh? How's TAN doing? That's going to be your ETF for solar stocks. Keep your exposure to the solar game diversified as opposed to being into one name. You had mentioned FSLR, though. That having a pretty good day here. ENPH also having a good day. You're right with these solar names. How's some of the smaller ones doing? SPWR, isn't that the ticker? No, SP. What is that other? Well, Run is one of them. What's that other one that I think it's SPWR.
SPDR? Is it SPDR?
No,
it's not.
It is. It's SPWR. I don't have it in the Trade the Pool group here. Run though, same thing. Wing, that's Wingstop. Is that going up? That looking pretty good. Oh my god, that is vertical. What's that?
When does it not go up? That thing just has been going up.
It seems like every day. Yeah, you're right about that.
It's like, okay, well, great that it did have a bit of weakness, so it did cool off a little bit, so it could continue to rip higher. Because, gosh, this thing was overbought, back in March.
Lulu, interesting here. So Lululemon making butts look good for the last couple of decades here. This butting up, see what I did there, right to that 50-day. We'll see if we end up taking that out, closing above. We do have some room here between that 50-day and the 200-day up at 383. The big thing, I mean, I'm glad that the stock has really kind of pulled back. I'm not sure about how quickly we're going to return to some of those higher levels, especially if the consumer is continuing to weaken. But keep your eye here on Lulu.
Somebody mentioned QBTS. This is also getting mentioned by Carmen.
That's the quantum name, right? Yeah.
Yeah, D-Wave. Yeah.
QBTS. Qubits, yeah, that's got to be it. D-Wave quantum computing, yeah.
I had seen something that was suggesting that we may be a lot closer to quantum computing than had been projected, and if that's the case, it's probably going to be a theme we're going to have to explore a little bit more in detail before it happens. Now, there's some really big names that are already in quantum computing. I think IBM's one of them.
Let me ask you, 13. Do you think that the first tradable angle of quantum computing is going to be something like cybersecurity? Like, wouldn't you want that the whole like quantum computing angle protecting? I feel like cybersecurity would be a lot better if it utilized quantum computing.
I think. I mean, it would.
Maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't know.
It seems like that would be that would be my thought too. But I I don't know enough. I know how quantum computing works, but I don't know enough about where it's going to be able to apply its strength. It could be cybersecurity. I would think that it would be cybersecurity, but there's still, we're still a ways away from this actually, getting to be where it needs to be. So, but I think I just need to stop talking about it and just like pull up this article that I found, because I think there's a little bit more of an answer in there than what I can provide.
Real quick here, getting asked about MLGO, nothing really going on here, using the VWAP as resistance, and volume's kind of less than impressive here. I don't think there's anything on here until we take that out. Luke Wright asking about a firm. That's one we haven't taken a look at here. Firm actually doing a pretty good job building above its 50-day moving average. That 200-day at 34.45. So I do think if this has any more upside, we probably go to that 34 spot here. A firm, ticker AFRM. You had written testing the top of this descending channel on the daily. Yeah, there's definitely, like, I see what you're saying in here. There's definitely a trend that we're trying to break over. But the fact that we've broken above this 50 and consolidated, this is exactly what we want to see. We want to kind of churn some of that out before this takes the next move higher. That would break that trend line that you're talking about and maybe send us to 34.5. I don't like this company because I don't like buy now, pay later, tightening consumer, all of that stuff from a macro level. But from a chart level here, really good that we're kind of consolidating above that 50.
Yeah, vintage tool. I use OCOs sometimes. It depends on, it's like on a case by case basis. I'll give you one example in particular. Like if I'm ever going to try to trade those halts, I would definitely want to have OCOs out because those tend to whip around it. And if I'm expecting there to be a quick move up before it reverses and goes down, that's when an OCO would actually work quite well in my favor. So
speaking of going down, market pulling, still pulling here across the board. Qs, Dow, SPY, the entire thing pulling across the board.
MNTS with a pop at the VWAP. Yeah, lots of things are really reversing now.
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to look around. Boy, look at this. And it's not just the indice, it's affecting a lot of these individual names too. Look at Apple and Netflix really yanking. Costco, same deal. Big time pullback here. What kind of volume are we looking at here on the SPY? Give me a sec. 15 million shares traded here on the SPY. Weren't we at like 15 million at the lunch hour the last several days?
Yeah.
I think we were. Look at our chat. You guys were all waiting for the down move, weren't you?
I saw it. Yes. Brittany, I said that MNTS was.
Here, I'll put that up. I'm probably moving a little too fast this morning. I'm sorry.
Okay. This was pushing up. It's through VWAP now. I'm not sure this would be good to chase, but just make sure you're not causing a problem for yourself. This is already, I think that this already might be the move. Now, if it starts to settle above VWAP, you might have an opportunity to get in for the next leg up, but get some confirmation on that first.
559 your spot here on SPY, by the way. I'm gonna switch off MNTS. If I need to come back here, let me know. Really, it looks like 120, 121, the spots of note there on MNTS on an up move. Here's NVIDIA. It's trying to recapture its VWAP as this SPY tries to bounce from where we're at here. Take a look at the Qs as well. It's also trying to bounce. Print City says stay focused. We're going to ring registers all day long, buddy.
Gamification.
All day long. What'd you say?
Gamification.
I know what we needed for you. I'm sorry I didn't do this earlier, but for these big pulls and some of these big moves, this is for you, 13. Look, our morning is not complete without some Philip Seymour Hoffman. Let's face it.
Yeah.
That bounce in SPY and Q. Sorry, 13. That bounce in SPY and Qs doesn't look like it lasted all that long here. Lower we go.
ARQT looks like it's trying to return to that 1016. This thing is so slow moving. I don't know how much of a trade is in here, but It looks like it's trying. I don't know if I don't think it's a good trade.
FFIE did bounce off of its shorter term support, but guys, remember, longer term support on FFIE is still 0. AEMD penny stock not really doing a whole lot.
Aside from SQQQ, there's nothing really putting in these big up moves at the moment.
Did anyone take that, by the way? SQQQ or SOXS? I probably, if I was a little bit more on top of that, I'd probably look at this move right from the View app too. We just got a lesson on trading these from the View app yesterday. I should have had that on my screen. That's on me. That's on me.
Well,
hey, I'm not pissed about this. I'll be honest with you. I am not upset about a pullback here. Like, let's do it. Let me see if there was any other kind of headline that came out since that Powell speech here.
Well, I mean, there is one that says Jerome Powell, time has come for interest rate cuts, cooling in the labor market, unmistakable. But I don't know. That seems to be a bit of a cherry pick.
Yeah, I don't know. Let me know if you guys banked off that SQQQ move right here. I know Andy was on that one. I know Andy was on that one for sure.
He probably added this morning when it was going up.
Yep. Right before Powell.
Yeah.
Be nimble.
No. While Powell was talking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Lion Atlas. The algos are designed to cause mass pain to the retail, and that's probably what you saw a lot of today.
Jay's Life. Take care of yourself, man. Promise me you'll enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you next week. Next week might be a busy one. Let's see what shakes out over the weekend here. Jay, enjoy yourself. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for all your support as well.
Yeah, lots of things that we were looking at this morning, not looking great. Maybe IOVA does something with that, since it's still hanging out up here above 1215. As long as it holds that, I think that there's still a chance this could bounce, but volume and a lot of these are just really evaporating right now.
Real quick here, Brian's saying, I think it's time to close the laptop for the day. Brian, it is Friday. I don't know where you're at, but the weather is great. Just enjoy yourself, man. Sometimes touching some grass and getting away from the terminal is the right move.
Yeah, and Amanda as well. She's done. Folks, if you guys hit your targets for the day,
great success. Let's do it.
If you had great success, you hit your targets for the day. I don't see any reason why you would want to risk losing that. So consider yourselves done, I guess. I mean, have a good weekend. Pat yourself on the back. Enjoy those gains, folks.
Look, it's Friday. Ain't nobody, if you're a trader, nobody's going to tell the boss that you cut out a little early on a Friday. That is for damn sure. Rustam, take care of yourself. Richard, take care of yourself. PRTG getting called by Smoke Tuna. Tuna ain't going anywhere. He was like, I got more money to make. Forget you guys.
Everybody's got their own style. Love it.
Guys, smash up the like for our community here that's really been on top of everything from 13 all the way on down. Richard, thank you. Appreciate that. It's all you guys. It's all you guys. Jay Harris, Ryan, I owe you a cup of coffee and hit the point I need. And I made some money. Let's go, dude. You know me. I'm addicted to coffee, bro. I will take that. I will take that. You are a friend.
VRAX, this just had a big volume move here up through VWAP. And as long as this holds, it might be testing that intraday high of 622.
Here we go on VRAX. Naj, I'm new here. Love it. We love you, boss. That is exactly what we want to hear.
Taking a look at GeoVX, because if VRAX is going up, then we might see some of these other relationship trades go as well. Yep. So that'd be GeoVX, COSM. There's one more I'm not thinking of, though.
SIGA never really got going there. It was APDN, wasn't it? I feel
that might like, be, yeah.
Yeah, and then in COSM, GeoVX, and then SIGA from last time. Jane, take care of yourself.
And
Lucian, take care of yourself. Sorry.
Yep. And yeah, Lucian, Jane, and Lion. You guys, great week. Take care of yourselves. Have a great weekend.
You guys have really done an amazing job. Literally everyone in this chat, smash up the like for yourself. How many times have we ever asked you to do that? Smash the like for yourself for being amazing and carrying us to the promised land.
Okay, so Brittany, when you're asking me about MNTS, and I said wait for that, wait for that move. It did sell off through the VWAP again. It flushed some people out, and now it's going. Did you happen to trade that at all?
Jonathan, hopefully we'll see you back, man. Thanks for joining us. By the way, here is your MNTS. That was a really nice push there. You guys called that right at the VWAP spot.
No worries.
Brittany, your call was good, Britt. We'll get them next time. Yeah. Love the energy, guys, and humility. That's what it's all about, Lewis. We love you, man. We'll see ya. Brian saying, seriously amazing week for profits. 13. Yes. I'm sorry, Bruno. I have got coffee literally coursing through my veins right now.
Interruptible.
SQNS Smoke Tuna saying maybe we get a bounce back here. Someone was asking earlier about Synopsys. I know that this is one that this is not the right ticker. I know that this is one that Jay mentions a lot. Synopsys. This had a huge move off of a pullback. And it looks like we're pulling. Let me get a bigger chart here for you folks. I'll be honest with you. I actually knew somebody that worked for this company. This is a Bill Gates company at the head. And there's just morally, I can't do it. I can't do it. But the stock has been really great. So don't let my bias stop anybody here. Let me see if I can get you a bigger chart on Synopsys real quick. We'll break it down.
ADW Texas. The VLY, that was from Tim Melvin. He's here. He was here on Thursday this week, but every week he's with us on Wednesday. So hopefully we'll see you on Wednesday. He might have some more stuff for you.
Oh, he definitely will. Amanda's saying, you don't need to apologize, Rye. We all know when you drink coffee. Fair enough, Amanda. Fair enough.
We can see the veins in your neck.
Firm handshakes. Here's your Synopsys chart. So as I was saying, this was a really, really sweet bounce. This really kind of came with the rest of the market. This kind of nasty, though. We took out the 200, we took out the 100, we took out the 50, and we didn't close above that 50. And bang, big pullback. The one thing I will say here for a potential long, depending on what the market does next week, watch for this to recapture this 200-day. We're currently at 546.92. The 200-day is at 544.79. You can call it 555 if you want. Watch to see if this reclaims it. If it does, swing long opportunity here, SNPS. Sorry.
I was just saying, take care, Judge. He's taking off for the weekend.
Love Judge. Love the positivity that Judge puts into the universe, too. That helps us all, even if you don't know him.
And great mention, Ken Basil, about AIRI. Just crossed VWAP. Actually, just went back underneath it. But it looks like it's trying to recapture VWAP. So if we do get that, maybe there's some more upside here. Got a lot of consolidation to get through once it does. That starts at about 616 and goes as high as 656. So if it can chew its way through there, then we might have some more opportunities here for this to go up. That would be an intraday high that we have here at 679.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, just for the scheduling here, we're actually going to have Luke coming on here for about 10 minutes. And then when he's done, we're going to come back and do Anne Marie's show. We're going to give you the full half hour here on Anne Marie. So if you guys have multi-leg option trades that you want to set up, get those tickers ready. We'll ask Anne Marie when she comes back.
Yeah, and I think for me, it's going to be about that time to go and do a weekend.
You're going to do weekend things?
I'm going to go do weekend things, go do draft things.
Hopefully things is what you could have abbreviated that with.
Hopefully I get a good draft position.
Well, let me ask you. We'll ask Luke when he comes up here too. What draft position do you want?
Well, I know what I don't want. Hey, Luke.
What's going on, guys? How are you doing?
Dude, we're doing great. We're doing great. I don't know how long you've been here, Luke, but this group has been printing money this morning.
All right, so it was a good day.
It was a good day, dude.
All right, mood is going to be high all day?
All day, bro. It's Friday. That's what we do.
All right, I'm about it.
I'm going to leave my desk with this mood. How about that?
Awesome.
Happiness is a choice, Luke. That's how it goes. Happiness is a choice.
You know, they say that. They do say that. I think it's easier said than done.
That's true.
But maybe that's something we can all work on this weekend.
What do you got coming up here, Luke?
All right, we're going to be talking to MoneyLion. Stock has been hot. It's up about 130% over the course of the past year. They just reported Q2 results, had record revenue. So we're going to get an inside scoop and talk to the company, CEO D. Choubey.
All right. Take it away, dude. This sounds awesome.
All right. Happy trading, everyone. And can we bring D onto the stream, please? There we go. D, welcome back. Another big quarter. We've had fun these past few quarters. You know.
Hey, Luke, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. And thank you for giving us such an interesting story to talk about. I was just saying the stock is up more than 100% on a year-over-year basis. You just announced Q2 results maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago at this point. You know, what really jumped out to me in Q2 is you had that big record revenue number, 23% growth on a year-over-year basis. Let's start there. Give me the scoop into that.
Yeah, look, I think we're doing everything that we said that we would be doing, right? I mean, the punchline is that the business is in a great spot. We've got multiple ways to win. We were a little disappointed with how the stock reacted right when we announced the earnings. It's been a tough market. It's really hard to say what's really been driving it. But if you look at the long run, right? If you look at, why we think we're really positioned to win here, we've got multiple ways to win. We've got a great consumer business. We've got a great enterprise business. The revenues are super diversified. Like you said, it's sustainable year-over-year growth. It's like we're doing what we said we would. 25% average growth year-over-year from Q1 23 to Q2 2024. We're increasing our margins. If you look at what the business did, I mean, a year ago in Q2 of 23, we had an LTM revenue of $383 million. We increased that to $475 million LTM last 12 months in Q2, 24% growth. And we feel very confident that we'll be able to do that consistently going forward. And that was our guidance. And there's a lot of interesting things we're doing with the technology as well that give us a lot of confidence that this is sustainable. We're going to be able to expand margins. The diversity of the businesses, the two businesses are really good. Our cash flow generation is consistent, so we're adding cash back into the treasury every quarter now. And importantly, in the fintech space, we're balance sheet light, and we don't have to spend as much on marketing as a lot of our competitors do because we have this two-sided network, right? So the flywheel effect of the enterprise network and the consumer digital ecosystem, the digital bank, the marketplace, the sort of all of the accompanying products there are doing really well in almost a portfolio effect manner. So we feel very, very confident going into Q3.
And D, remind me, what year did you go public?
We went public in 21.
21.
Just coming on the 3-year anniversary of going public.
Wait, what anniversary is it?
Almost a 3-year anniversary in September, yeah.
All right, so that means that you and I have been doing this for 12 quarters now. And you're talking about how you're delivering on the story that you've been telling. And as somebody who's been watching the story and watching the story pretty closely and reading every quarterly report and looking at the conference call transcripts, I can speak to that. A lot of it has come to fruition. There was such a long period, where I don't think the market gave you credit for being able to execute on the story you have. We've obviously seen that change over the past year. We've obviously seen the execution on the strategy, and it's really awesome to see as a fellow fintech company. It's nice to see winners in the space and growth in the space and change happen in the space. Another question I want to ask is about user acquisition. So I was looking at the total customer count that you put up in Q2. You had a 73% jump in total customers. I mean, you almost doubled the number of total customers. Tell us about that number. Is there noise in that number? What's driving acquisition, et cetera?
Look, that was a number we were proud of. So in Q1 over Q4, total customers went up 1.5 million. It came down a little bit from last year. Then we saw a quarter where it went back up again. So, that's a number that's great because what it tells us is that these are customers that are giving us double opt-ins, double consents to continue marketing to. If you want to, really think about what we want to do in the marketplace, we want to be the co-pilot for the American consumer to make their best financial decision, right? So you're looking for a mortgage, a HELOC, a personal loan, retirement account, a digital banking account. We want you to come to MoneyLion, right? So, the ability to add millions of new total customers, and our definition of total customers is actually a higher bar than a lot of our the industry, if you will. There's all different ways that we see total customers being defined. we actually say the total customers, if we're reported to the street, it actually has to mean something, right? So it actually means that these are people that are paying, that they are monetized. So, adding 1.6 million and growing monetized customers per quarter gives us a lot of confidence that, there are a lot of registered users in that funnel as well that haven't yet been monetized. They're just downloading our mobile app or they're perusing an offer in the marketplace. Over time, we have a universe of millions of customers now that we can potentially monetize over time, right? So the product is getting better as well, right? We've always said that we're going to be product-led growth. So if you anyone who's listening can download the MoneyLion app, it'll be hard pressed to really find a financial services ecosystem that is more robust than what we have really been able to present. And if you heard what we said on the transcript, we introduced MoneyLion Labs, right? So we're building this ecosystem of commerce, of business services, of content, of developer kits, right? So everything from financial product search to MoneyLion checkout to content as a service to web services, all of that really comes together that it creates a whole funnel, right? The consumer who's downloading the MoneyLion can say, look, think about ourselves. If we're thinking about getting a new credit card, it's not going to happen instantly. We're going to think about it. We're going to read. We either go to Points Guy or Lounge Buddy or MoneyLion, right? So we're now elevating MoneyLion's role in really helping that consumer make that financial decision. And over time, that's going to lead to higher LTV, higher ARPU. There are a lot of marketplaces out there. Some of them stop at just the transaction, but because we've got the ability to create this relationship with a digital wallet, we can take that a step further than what else is out there.
And so let me ask you this. The big topic of the day, which is not AI, I'm going to say it's the big topic of the day, is interest rates. That's the one I'm picking today. You're talking about activating customers. You have millions of customers in the funnel to be activated. You're talking about driving LTV out of existing customers and people who are spending money with you. I would imagine that a drop in interest rates has a profound impact on your business. Cash advances become more appealing. Personal loans become more appealing. Mortgages become more appealing. Talk to me about that.
Well, first of all, as a consumer finance ecosystem, we have really built the business to be agnostic, right? So we enjoy resiliency across interest rate regimes. But that said, when interest rates fall, conversion rates increase for our third-party credit products, right? So we're super strong in personal loans and financial wellness products. Demand increases in auto insurance, credit cards, mortgages, refinancings of mortgages. 2023 was one of the lowest years that we've seen in a long time for new home purchases. Usually, it was probably in the 4 to 4.5 million range, right? So usually we see 5 to 7 million new homes bought every year in the United States. We're seeing that normalize in 2024. That's going to increase in 2025 as now, is the latest news that I've heard is, we're pricing in 6 rate cuts. So if you think about that, and you think about all this pent up demand and all these arms coming due, mortgage refinancing is going to see a pretty big boom, and we're seeing that in our network, right? Because we connect consumers who want to find the best rate to the lenders on the mortgage side. We do that in personal loans, we do that in credit cards, auto insurance, mortgages. So we do see a positive outlook 100% as rates fall for both personal loans, for mortgages, for insurance. Demand for our first party products doesn't really change, right? So, the same things that we enjoy when interest rates are high, we don't really see, that demand for cash advances changing, right? In fact, we're one of the 1 or 2 or 3 player in cash advances in all of the United States. In fact, we operate one of the biggest marketplaces. So I don't see that demand changing either. And then finally, I would say, think of MoneyLion as a channel where some of the largest financial institutions are spending their marketing dollars to acquire consumers. So as interest rates fall, it's a great opportunity for them to add great users, locking in that spread, but also better credit quality users, right? So marketing spend on our channels are increasing. And because we earn a spread on that, it's a tailwind to our revenue. In fact, if you want me to quantify it, with every 100 basis point decrease in rates, right? We see conversion rates increasing by 100 basis points, right? So that means $18 to $20 million of incremental revenue every quarter.
Wow.
So it's just built-in growth for the business.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And you know, as you mentioned, you know, our opinion at Benzinga, as is everybody's, is that there are going to be significant interest rate decreases. You know, and as I think about your story, and I'm, you know, putting on my investing hat and looking for like what are the derivative plays to benefit from interest rate decreases. It's not just buying 30-year treasuries now. There are other options out there. You know, this is one that I think is really interesting. And D, let me ask you one last question.
Sure.
You had to name one item you are most excited about and one item only. What would it be?
Well, I think you stole my thunder, right? I mean, we're excited about rates falling here, and that's going to be a big driver for our business. And I can name off a bunch of things that we're doing on labs around checkout. Just looking at the financial services industry still is a flea market, right? Like you put in your information on one site and they sell it to 17 other sites and your data's everywhere. But, you know, if we can own checkout, I think that's a big boom. But ultimately, all of that's really driven by you can't fight the tape, you can't fight the Fed. And, you know, this low rate environment is going to be different from what it was 2 years ago, but we are well positioned for that. And I think it's a great entry point for investors into our story. There's been a bit of a sell-off in our stock. I think it's a great entry point. We're going to be we're firing on all cylinders. So, you know, this is something where you hear from the CEO and the founder that, look, I've never been more excited about this business than I am right now.
Awesome. Well, D, thank you very much for joining.
Thanks for having
everyone.
me.
The company is MoneyLion. The ticker is ML. It's an easy one for you. And D, we will talk to you soon.
Thank you. Thanks, Luke. Bye.
All righty. I'm going to bring my confidant, Ryan Faloona, back on the stream for us. And Ryan, you are going to options trading. Is that right?
We are going to bring on Anne-Marie to help our viewership print some more money. What do you think about that?
That seems like a treat to me. Anything with Anne-Marie is a treat. You're going to help people make money too. I mean, I don't think it gets much better.
It doesn't. Anne-Marie is great. Also, as a little bit of a bonus, we've also had some chat members say that her calmness helps keep them calm. And anyone that's spent days in the market knows how important that is. So really looking forward to all of this.
Awesome. Well, I will hand it off to you all. Enjoy Anne-Marie, everyone, and happy trading.
Appreciate it, Luke. Promise me you have a good weekend, boss. We will bring on Anne-Marie. Anne-Marie, how are you doing here today?
Hi, I'm doing great. Just picked a long off of a bottom in the market, so feeling pretty good about that. Also, just from a futures perspective, but looking.
I was going to say we had kind of a wild morning here today. I'm not surprised to see that you're busy getting orders ready in here. That makes complete sense. But yeah, let's set up some multi-leg option trades. Did we want to cover? I know that you had said the last time we were together, we talked about exiting the Pan W winner that we had. We had talked about maybe kind of throwing a good till cancel order out there. Do we want to cover that? Or should we just roll into some new trades?
Well, we did cover it for the hang on 2 seconds.
No problem.
Time sensitive thing here. We did cover this in the Benzinga Pro platform.
Gotcha.
But,
Okay.
Moving into the next spot, I need to cancel these open orders while I sit and talk to you. I can't chew gum and walk at the same time. So
you know what, Anne-Marie, you are preaching to the choir, because one of the things that I say every day is that, you know, I'm constantly sharing my screen and I'm flipping through charts and I'm trying to read the chat and I'm trying to go back and it is hard to do 95 things at once. And when you're trying to trade and put capital at risk at the same time, I understand exactly how it goes. Do not worry. Do not worry. But you know what? Sorry to cut you off there, but real quickly, just Amanda here, you guys need to get into our pro Zooms. So I completely agree with this. I know that we do this show and it's great and we're able to give some trades away and people are able to make money and all that stuff is great. But if you really want to get involved here, follow Amanda's advice. Get involved in pro, get into those rooms. Anne-Marie, you and I do webinars all the time where you list all of the things that you give in these rooms. Market outlook, midday recaps, multiple trades, more than we can do here on the show. So really, really imperative that people get in there. Amanda, I appreciate you supporting our mission here all the time.
Even if you don't like Chicago, Amanda.
Yeah. I mean, even so. Look, we're about to have, I'm optimistic for this year. I think we're going to have a really healthy and fun sports rivalry relationship, let's call it. So I am optimistic. And like I told Luke earlier, happiness is a choice. So we're good.
There you go. It sure is. It sure is. All right. So we can do a couple of things. The big thing I want to talk about is the CrowdStrike earnings trade.
Okay.
We can go through. I wanted to share that trade with everyone today. And we can take a look at Palo Alto. This trade just worked like an absolute charm. I mean, it was rock solid, beautiful. All you had to do was have a little bit of patience. You came in the morning and went absolutely crazy, blew out well past all our butterflies. And I said, breathe. Let's take a moment. Let's give it a day or so. And absolutely it did. So we are now letting the short call side erode, and it is eroding very, very nicely. And so that trade has worked out well. If you sold the butterfly flat out, you made a couple 100%. And if you sold it at the level that I said to wait for, and if you sold the call spread and are letting the put spread erode, that is also doing tremendously well in the grand scheme of things. So that's working well. Do I need to make my chart a little bigger, sir?
Probably.
Yes.
The numbers are tough to see. I can always help you. I can always kind of read those out if I see people in the chat struggling with them. But yeah, if you can, if it's not too much of a distraction. Okay,
yes.
Great.
I went to extra large to see that we can do that there. All right. Sure. So if there are no concerns, I'm going to go to CrowdStrike. And for those of us that are maybe visiting the options show for the first time, I am here on the Thinkorswim platform. And what I like to do is take a look at weekly average true ranges and relative motion to tell us what might potentially happen. And so we have earnings on the 28th. That is 5 calendar days from today. So that's Wednesday of next week. Here's a pro tip. If you see this setup and you like it, you can take one of them and be perfectly fine. Or you can take one of them and then say, you know what, the day before earnings, I just might add another one of these. Maybe I get a better price. And so the goal is not to over lever and just look at the chart in terms of its range. So let's take a look at CrowdStrike really quickly. We can see CrowdStrike had that terrible breach. And I don't have any idea why all of these are so big. So let's make them all small. It had a terrible breach and then, fell like a stone. Mm-hmm. And now we're coming into earnings. What we do know about cybersecurity is that it's here to stay. And we don't really have a ton of choices about what we can do if things go sideways. And we know that since CrowdStrike affected so many individuals, we know that their subscription base is very, very big. And so the question is, do they tell the investors/users enough to make them comfortable? And can we go from there? And so my thought is the following. Let's zoom out, see what the weekly ATR is. And that's $37. The top of the gap from this monster event is 304. Mm-hmm. And the bottom of the gap is somewhere around 280. Okay. My thought is that it might take them more than 1 quarter to settle the storm. But if it's a good earnings report, I see us going to that 300 level. I think it's pretty fair that we go to that 300 level. If it's a bad earnings report, I think we go down to that 230 level, right? But I don't see us falling out of bed, and I don't see us shooting the moon. Now, let's think about what if we fall out of bed and what if we shoot at the moon. So 2 things can happen here. We can expand dramatically, at which point trend tells me all of the people here who bought on the way down are going to trim their position, if not completely cover it, when we get to the top, and we will fade and come back to what I suspect might be a good middle strike. So that 300 level, we're going to look at for a good middle strike. Next, if they say something and it doesn't make the investors happy for whatever reason, I think we fade, but there's so much subscription revenue that we're likely not to fall out of bed. So that's my thought. That's the why. That's the long of it. So here we have something else that I put on. Now, we already have one of these set up in the Benzinga Pro platform. We might add another one as we look into the day in terms of how it goes. So I've got this expiry for the 13th of September. And the expiration formations are the 290 to 300 to 310 and the 230 to 220 to 210. So you might say, Anne-Marie, what's up with this 13th of September thing? Why are you choosing that? I have to tell you, in complete honesty, it's a little bit of, volatility is the lowest there. We know price is going to move forward or backward. It's going to trend a little bit. I don't want to give it so little time room that if it expands outside of our butterfly, that it doesn't have a chance to collapse into the proper levels. So that's my general suspicion about what might happen. Now, if you move to September the 20th and you take it, you can see the price is almost exactly the same. And it gives us a little bit more time in order for the chart to move. So here is the reason you might want to use the 20th of September. Let's take a thought for the butterfly that doesn't do well. The further away the butterfly is that doesn't do well, the more insensitive it is to price, meaning that your butterfly will not erode immediately if it's wrong, if you give it that September 20th, as opposed to being right there at September the 6th or August the 30th, where it immediately drops to zero. So,
and we're also getting a comment here, Amanda, easier to fill those monthly expiries too when you sell. That's been what I've noticed too. Any in the weekly take a little bit longer to get filled. You really have to be a little bit more patient, but those monthlies, you're likely to get them filled a little bit quicker.
Yeah. So this is what we have sitting in this space for CrowdStrike. I like it. Openly, we did not see as much run up as we thought when I put these first butterflies on. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of adjustment in our midday market report that's coming up right after this if you are a Benzinga Pro member. So we'll be doing a little bit of that later. I don't know who else is on the earnings docket. We could look at a few charts that have really been running like mad.
So first of all, I can tell you any day what earnings are coming up here if you'd like. We did have a suggestion from DKR in the chat on First Solar, ticker FSLR. And the interesting part here, I love this. You're always going to get shout outs with this type of stuff. He added some more context here. Would love to hear thoughts if there's a 3 to 6 month play of bullish on a September rate cut, October earnings, and November election / favorable policy implications. So he's given you a couple of things in the future that he's looking for. I'm sorry if I screwed that up. Some things to look for and giving you a time frame. So I'll throw this out there. What about First Solar as a potential trade?
So I like First Solar in general as a trading vehicle because its implied volatilities are always high, and that gives us lots of room to run. Hang on 2 secs. And let's think about this. So here's the thing with 3 different opportunities for price action. We have the September rate cut, the October earnings, and then the November elections. That could make all kinds of things move around. And so the question might be, do you want to pace that out into 3 different trades, 3 different trade events? Or are you looking for something way down the street? So statistically speaking, it is much easier to approximate what's going to happen in the next 4 to 6 weeks than the next 3 to 6 months. The further away you are from the present, the harder it is to predict the outcome because of all the exogenous factors. Exogenous means things outside of a system that are globally related or environmentally related or anything like that. So that being said, I would say probably a good idea to shift that into a thought process that might say, okay, I think volatility is going to increase over time, or I think volatility is going to decrease over time. Whatever the case is, that's where the choice is. And if you're looking at something like that, I would suggest the calendar trade. And so let me show you how that works.
The other thing that you can do here, DKR is saying, personally, I was thinking a little bit longer term, but I 100% believe in Anne-Marie's expertise. Yeah, we all do. The one thing I will say there, though, with all of those different things kind of laid out, you might be in a position where you can set up multiple trades like this. We're just kind of keeping your time horizon a little bit shorter, as Anne-Marie suggested. And then maybe, especially if you win off that first one, you might be able to roll some profits into the next one and then play all of those events that you're waiting for. So this might be one of those situations where it's a trade that gives more trades depending on how it goes.
Yeah, and the easiest way to have one trade turn into more trades is to use the calendar spread. So let's say in your mind, you are thinking that First Solar is going to have upside pressure. And so you look at maybe a $250 price target over the next, let's take a look at the chart. All right. And let's look at the monthly ATR and see what we see. So the monthly ATR is about $45, right? And so if we look at a $45 motion, we literally, we could see up or down $45 sitting here. So I'm going to pretend that number is actually 50. I'm going to divide it in half, and we're going to sit with our $250 call spread. So now here is September. Let's say that in September, you don't think that it's going to go more than, all right, what do they have priced in? They have $20 or so. right? So they really are saying, listen, that's entirely likely in this kind of environment. I don't think it is. But what you could see, that's a $1,500 position, okay? If you don't want to use any margin and you don't want to be called out on the position. But what happens is, if, let's say, the chart starts running in the other direction, and the following month you can go, I can sell the 240s, right? And so eventually, because you've got 4 months, one of these is going to expire without, hopefully they all expire outside of the money. But then October and November also give you opportunities to sell outside of the money. And so you end up collecting more than the amount that you pay in the first opening of the calendar spread. So it opens up with a lot of cash that's required on the front end, but every follow-up month, it gives you a credit for keeping that position on. And the great thing is, if you're bullish for solar, then you can do that. I don't love calendar spreads. One, because I'm not married to any chart at all. So what I would revert to is to say, hey, listen, we've got a big basing event here. We came back and we tested it. My thought is that the price action moves to the north. So you can do 2 things. You can say, I want to sell. Let me just start month by month. You look at the edges and you go, you know what? I'm selling the iron condor. And I'm going to sell the iron condor with a support ledge of 190 and a resistance ledge of 260. Let's see what they give us. So the iron condor, 190 to 185 and 240 to 245. Okay, and that gives us about $1.77, which is a very good amount for a volatile stock. And this is going to expire in 28 days. It's going to be something where you go, you know what? I'm going to look for 50% profit, 50, pretty good, 50% profit, and then I'm going to get out of the trade. And so that's a great way to take a look at things. Now, here's what a lot of us do. It gets into the space and we don't pay attention to what happens. We just go, I'm going to cross my fingers and see. I'm just going to pretend that's not happening. And I'm sure it's going to bounce. You've got to triage your events. And triage means you're going to either close one side and roll the other, or you're just going to cover the entire spread if you feel like your strength and options are not as good. So we could do that.
Okay. Really good breakdown there on FSLR. So we have about 6 minutes left.
All right.
What do you want to do? What do you want to do in the remaining 6 minutes? I didn't see the only other suggestion that we got here was Costco, because it's my favorite store, but I don't know how great the option chain's actually going to look on that.
The chains are really good here. The chains are really good here.
Look at this. Look at this chart,
I know.
Anne-Marie.
Listen. Did I tell you about my trip to Costco?
No.
Zoo. Absolute zoo. I was in North Carolina. There are only 2 Costcos in the Charlotte region. One is on the very north side, just outside of Mecklenburg County, and one is on the very south side, just outside Mecklenburg County. And literally, it was like traffic jams, 3 rows of carts. You couldn't turn into a lane. I was like, I am going to have a panic attack. It was insane. It was absolutely insane.
So I'm going to give you a pro tip. Well, you set this chart up. I'm going to give you a pro tip. The pro tip to not going insane from going to Costco, because I know exactly what you're talking about, being someone that lives in the Chicagoland area. The pro tip is to show up 5 minutes before it opens and be one of the first people in the store. I do this every Saturday. I am in at 9:30. I am out by 9:50, and I have my entire day in front of me. And
oh my gosh, that's fantastic. Oh, all right. Note to self. I'll do it. All right. So what we notice about Costco from a heuristic perspective, that's a personal impression, that place is making money hand over fist. And I don't even know how they have their logistics environment is mind-boggling. How they're able to get so many different incredible high quality organic things in one place and then hardly ever run out of things. So every pullback should be a buy zone. And so my suspicion is, if you're thinking about Costco, we have earnings, right? Earnings are coming up. All right, let me go to a weekly website. I mean, a weekly time frame. Earnings will be here on, looks like 9/26. And so that's a long way away to trade an earnings event. So here's what we can do. We can actually do two things. We can trade like it's an earnings event before the earnings, just in case a move happens before. And then we can cover it and do an earnings trade. And so we actually did that with Palo Alto.
Yep.
So we won twice with the calls. And so we can do this again. Notice, top of the range. If it breaks to the north, my suspicion is that it tries to get somewhere near 950 to 1,000. That's just going to be insane. Okay. So all we've been doing here lately is been selling put spreads, and they've been just ridiculous. Hand over fist, printing cash. And if it doesn't, you roll it into the next week and then you get lucky. So we've been selling the put spreads at all the pullbacks. We don't have a pullback here because this is the moving average. We would sell the put spread at when it comes into this zone. So I'm going to put an alert at this price. And if per happenstance it comes in when you and I are set to get online together, then we'll know, okay, that's generally, I'm going to pull it up just a wee bit. That's generally our region, somewhere around 834 to 839. And that'll be where the put spread will sit in general if you don't want to go backwards on the trade. If we want to look at upside pressure, we could take a butterfly. But at this juncture, I would say, you know what? Let's see how we close the week. And when we get together on Tuesday, this is one of the first places we go. Because if it breaks out, take a look at the range of the average candle in here. Let me put replace right there. The range of the average candle on a weekly space is $35. And so some of these candlesticks have been $65. And so having the press to the upside pre-earnings or having the press into resistance pre-earnings going to make for a great setup. So that's what I think we ought to check out on Tuesday.
I think that's absolutely perfect. One thing to clean up here. Shock's asking which moving average is she using there? I believe that's the exponential 14, that white line. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Yeah, 14 EMA. You like how I'm able to eyeball that?
Look at you.
All right. So that's it, Shock. She's using the 14 EMA. So I think this was Austin, right? Yeah. So Austin, be sure to join us here on Tuesday next week. We will cover Costco. Like Anne-Marie says, we'll wait and see how the week finishes out here. Anne-Marie, awesome stuff yet again. And I cannot thank you enough for being flexible. I know we had a lot of stuff that we had to kind of move around and fit everything together here. Really, really appreciate you.
My pleasure. All right. You take it easy. I hope you can put your feet up this weekend. I hope you got some fun planned.
I do. Look, college football starts tomorrow. So I got golf that I got 18 holes of golf that I got to play. And then after that, my feet are going to be up and I'm going to be as happy as it gets here. All of that happens after my Costco trip, by the way. Oh, that's going to happen too. All right, Zune, can I get a thumbs up? You ready to go?
Ready to rock, ready to rock. Anne Marie, I hope you have a lovely, lovely weekend as well.
You too, sir. Take care, both of you.
You got it. You got it. Take care. Ryan, enjoy the golf. Enjoy whatever self-esteem issues you may have after you golf. I don't know. Are you a good golfer or no?
I mean, I'm just starting. So the fact that I'm outside getting sun means I'm happy. And I won't have self-esteem issues. I'll be good.
I definitely would. I can't even. Top Golf is not somewhere where I go to spend my money often. But enough of my nonsense. Sandra, give me a thumbs up when you're ready to go. All righty. How you doing?
Good. You don't like to spend your money at Top Golf? What is?
I don't just because I'm awful at it. You know what I mean? I'm not great at it. So
it's a great environment, though. It's fun.
It is. It is. I know you've got your screen shared and ready to go. Give me one ticker. I know you got many tickers we're going to go over, but tease me with one of them.
Oh, let's do Tesla.
All right. Tesla's coming up next. You're watching Options Trading Made Simple with Sandy.
Welcome back, traders. This is Sandra with Trading Made Simple. I'm here to show you short-term proven strategies. People think trading is a one-size-fit-all market. It's not. We live trade and train daily. Let's talk trading.
Hey guys, hope you're having a good week. And let's go over a couple items that we did for last week. We actually went over XSP last week. We were talking about how this indice, which mirrors SPX, is about the same price as SPY, and it's cash settled. And for premium sellers, as well as people that like to do spreads and maybe some butterflies, this is kind of a nice indice that you could create a strategy, put it on, and then not have to manage it too much if you're interested in maybe a big reward versus a risk, like a butterfly. And so what we were looking at last week was saying, hey, let's try to look at this and take a butterfly. I believe we took a butterfly. I want to say it was to a little bit to the downside. Actually, no, it was a neutral butterfly. It did not end up working. And what it did, though, is I got into this mindset of, you know, how can we, who's done studies out there, or is there some research out there of actually pinning the end of the day? And I found some articles that were real interesting about like taking a back test from 30, 60, 90 days, and then trying to identify certain days of the week as well as certain times of the day that is better and had a higher probability of success of actually pinning price, right? So for premium sellers, I mean, you know, isn't that like the lottery? Let's try to pin the price. And so as I took a deep dive and started doing some back testing, you know, I actually found a correlation with 2 p.m. 2 p.m. having a very decent success rate for pinning price, but it had to be within 0.50. So what you do is you take your current price of, you know, let's say XSP at 2 p.m. And then what you do is you plus, right? You're going to add 0.50%. And you're going to basically make your wings to the high and to the low using that butterfly. And then seeing if that is actually going to prove true going forward, right? So you back test a strategy, you find out, hey, I think this has some merit. You start shortening up your time frames, and then you put it to the test. You can either simulate it or you can put some real money behind it, depending on, how much it's going to cost you. And so this is the way that we actually do our back testing. So I'm not sure if I didn't take into account FOMC days or when, Powell's on, but I certainly want to go forward testing the strategy out. So I hope that you'll take a look at that as well and start either using XSP or SPX and see if you can start utilizing maybe a butterfly to try to pin price. So 2 p.m. So think about that this afternoon. And so let's get to it. We were not successful. I think we were just out of bounds by just a little bit. And you could have throughout the day when we put that butterfly on, you could have just removed it for a small loss if you didn't see it going into your direction, or you could have just left it on and let that expire worthless. So as we're now taking a look at our major indices, we had some volatility this morning with Powell. Nice pump up right when the meeting started. And then look at this reversal candle, huge reversal candle. And then now we're making ourselves back up. But of course, this is our high. This is our low. This is a lower high, right? This is a lower high. And so now we're going to see, are we going to actually come through and start breaking this consolidation area located at 55.95? I'm curious to see. It's kind of been a weird Friday as far as price action. And I think it's because of that FOMC. But let's take a look at SPY really quick. Looks exactly the same. And you can see that we're breaking through here, the 20, right, on a 5-minute. But, when we actually take a look at SPY on a bigger chart, you can see on a day chart, look at this V-shaped recovery, just monstrous here. But look how we're back into this channel. So we're really back into a range. Now, this little area is actually a fake out zone. So a lot of fake outs where you have support and resistance. And now you can see that we're actually floating above today, above that channel. And you can see the previous high back here. I can't see that date. Let's take a look at that. What day is that? That was July 16th. So we haven't really gone up to the 65. We need about 5 more points to have a double top to see if we actually have a double top or we're going to break the top. And you can see how next week's expected move indicator is kind of showing us. It will depend on where we close today, but you could see that we are positioned a little higher. And so we'll have to see if we end up for next week getting up to the 569 level or possibly coming down to the 552 level. So we still have positive momentum. And then if we start shortening up the time frame, just to get a little closer to us, you can see momentum is still strong. We're still above the 20 here. And then as we go to a 1-hour chart, you can see that we're actually consolidating for the last 3 days, kind of in this area. And the last time we came up to this consolidation, which was today, look at this long wick right here, right? The bear's trying to drive that price down to fill that gap, but just couldn't do it on an hourly chart. May be able to continue lower here, but we'll have to see. And you can see that point of control for this week is right here. So it literally came down, touched the point of control for the hourly chart, and then just popped right back up. When we take a look at the 15, we're still above the 20. So really still having a bullish momentum, but kind of consolidating in this area right here. So we'll have to see what the day brings us. Let's take a look at the other indices real quick. The Qs. Ooh, the Qs on a 15-minute getting below their previous pivot low. So turning a little bit bearish on the Qs here, just looking to see on a 15. If we drop it down, you can see we've had a great day on the Qs with that gap up this morning. If we drop down, let's see, this could get to 475. So a couple dollars down below. We just broke below the 20. We have momentum, though, that seems to be kind of magnating right here where the 0 line is. it's not pointed down like it is over here. It's just kind of floating. So we could be consolidating and going sideways here. I'm not sure how bearish this is going to be. We don't have a lot of ticks on the board. And then let's take a look at IWM, and let me just look at a bigger time frame here. So a lot of people like to use the 5 EMA for short-term trends, very short-term trends. And so you can see that I have that on my chart right now. So it looks like 478.72 is about in that area, and it just dropped below it on the Qs. So for a short-term trend, this will be interesting to see if we actually now come back and test the 20, which is all the way down to about the 469 area. So looking to see what's going to pan out today. All right, IWM, DIA, how is our economy stocks doing? Still looking pretty good from today's activity. They're kind of all mirroring each other, which is good. You could see that on a 15-minute chart, we have this channel here. We broke above that channel. It acted as a fake out zone, and now we're kind of breaking below it. So we'll have to see with a confirmation candle, right? If you want to get away from those fake outs, just wait for one confirmation candle that's away from that zone. So on a 15, we're laying on top of it. On a 5-minute, we're actually retesting the 20. If we break below the 20 here on DIA, we could go a little lower and stay above it. It could pop up, and we could get to 413.50 here eventually. All right. And then IWM. We used to call this the canary in the coal mine. All right. So IWM, not looking too bad here. Looking really bullish. And let me take a look at a 15. We made a high. So we're going to see if we make a higher low. Looks like we actually broke through the weekly expected move. So that really should act as really good support. And if we break below it, then where are we going to come next? Where the 20 is. And the 20 is actually sitting right on top of that channel. If I scoop out just a little bit more, let's see if we can see it. We can't. So we do have this kind of a channel or a trend line here. And it's right where the 20 is. So we have a lot of, I call them power lines. So we have a lot of support in this area, but this should act as really strong support. However, 68% of the time during the week, we actually close within our weekly expected move. And then when we actually close above or below that expected move, that really is kind of give us a trend direction for the next following week. So if we close above, as an example on IWM, above this 218.91, this could signal a bullish trend for next week. So that's how we kind of look at it, just to give us some forecasting tools. Let's take a look now at Tesla. So let's take a look at Tesla on a 4-hour. So I don't like that it's actually below its weekly expected move. It came up to retest it right here. And you can see that momentum really didn't dive very far down, but it did actually touch our weekly low expected move. And we're still sitting below 220. Let's make it 221. And I say 221 because that's that gray line. And that really is our this week's point of control. Let's look at a smaller chart. Still underneath that weekly on a smaller chart on an hourly. And if we just look at something like a day trade, having a lot of consolidation here. Yeah, just a whole bunch of consolidation. You can see that our Darvis bands actually has a pretty wide range here, even on a 5-minute, all the way from 221.48 all the way down. I can see the purple right underneath the previous pivot low at 210.29. So, and it's right there in the middle. I would have to say that it's actually, you know, today has been a nice bullish day for everybody with the gap up. Coming down to retest. It's going to be a tough one for me. Let's take a look at the daily. Not sure I love the setup. It's right there in the middle of the range, could go either way. It is sitting up above this channel line here. Momentum is strong on a daily. A lot of consolidation though this week. And now we have a nice breakout of $7.68 thereabouts. So looking to see what may happen next week. I would put an automated order in for something like 222, make it 223, anything above 223. And it's going to head to probably next week's expected move on the higher end. Let's take a look at that on 4-hour really quick. Yeah. So anything above basically that 221 would take us up to about 230.84 or thereabouts. And really looking right to get above this candle right here. And so this candle's at 228.35. And so, that could happen by next week. It looks like it's getting a nice momentum today. And it already touched the 20, and it looks like it bounced from there. Getting above the 5, and then, of course, getting above that weekly point of control is going to be pretty important. Some, I don't know if you guys follow, we usually utilize big option flow that go into certain stocks. So we actually saw some option flow coming into Tesla as well as BABA. So let's take a look at BABA. BABA touching its weekly expected move today, 85.79 may end up closing inside our weekly expected move. But look at where we are for next week here. So depending on where we close today, BABA looks good for continuation. If we open up on Monday above where we close today, we could see some highs at 87.90. That might be good for a debit spread for next week. I actually like this setup a little bit better. Let me see this one compared to Tesla again. Yeah, you see all the consolidation. Can you just kind of, just like side by side, right? When you take a look at this and you're like, all right, I don't know if I really love it. And then you take a look at BABA. Same, clearly the same time frame here, but just looks so much more, robust, right? So I actually like BABA, and what we're going to do is do a debit spread for next week, for maybe that shooting for that 87 range. So if we go into our trade here, our trade column, and let's just take next Friday, August 30th. And I'm looking for a call spread. And you can see that a debit spread, which is really nice. By the way, we did some back testing, and we found that, on a lot of our targets on it, we give out a nice condensive weekly watch list. And we did some back testing on this, and we found that Wednesdays primarily are better to enter trades that you're looking for momentum. And I found this interesting, but the synopsis basically was that, option pricing is expensive on Monday. If you didn't know that, just a little bit of a tidbit of information. So because option pricing is expensive on Monday, do you think that the inflows from the institutions are most likely coming in during the middle of the week and driving prices up? That was kind of the analysis that we were giving this back testing. And so I found it interesting, and I hope that you'll, going forward, just hearing this information, you'll start checking out some of your favorite tickers. And instead of getting in them on a Monday, get in them on a Wednesday. Wednesday morning, before it opens, get your orders ready and ready to rock and roll by 9:30, and then see if that ends up panning out a little bit better. Not only are more targets hit after Wednesday, but higher percentage of win rate as well. So I just thought that was fascinating. So we're going to do a deeper dive into that. But I welcome your comments on this. If do we have any back testers out there? Do you like this type of information? If you do, put a comment. I'd love to read about it, what type of back testing you do. So in any event, we're going to put this in today. But I'm looking at basically an 86, 87. That is kind of high up there. Let's see. Maybe I go a little bit in the money, 85, 86. Let me see what the difference is in pricing. So your max loss on this is 49 to make 51. So it's kind of like a one-on-one, right? And you got a little bit of money. You're a little bit inside the money, right? And then if we take the 86.87 where you're basically at the money, this one is $35 to make $65. I think I'm actually going to go with inside the money a little bit on this one. The 85.86, it's $47. We'll get a couple of these. And when we put these on the analyze graph, let me go ahead and show you that. This basically is BABA. So really what we're looking at is, I think today's the, 23rd. Yeah. So really what we're looking at is to have BABA basically pass, right, as time is evaporating for next week. So we're not going to mind that it's going to go sideways, maybe, hint, hint, Monday or Tuesday, but maybe come Wednesday, this thing really kind of rockets out. And the farther that it stays inside of this little blue area, as time, which is the purple line, as that rises, you're actually just creating more income as you stay in this area. So that's what we're going to do for next week. Let me go ahead and submit that. All right, I'm in with a couple contracts. So that's what we got. Unfortunately, I was hoping to maybe do Tesla, but I wasn't really liking Tesla. Anybody have any charts they'd like me to look at? Let's take a look. You can test out your strategies with our trading competition. Oh, great idea, by the way. Don't forget, Trade Zero, edge.com, World Championship of Trading. That should be a lot of time. Every time I hear about Thinkorswim, my brain replaces Thinkorsync. Well, sometimes that happens. Trading is all about taking action, right? So you're either going to just think about it, analysis paralysis, or you're just going to start swimming, baby. That's what that's all about, I think. So let's see. I'm using Thinkorswim. Yeah, I'm using Thinkorswim. I train people on automation on Thinkorswim. By the way, you could go to tradingmadesimple.org and check out our services. But yeah, I do love automation, and I do love teaching it on Thinkorswim. Back in the day, several years back, probably about 8 years ago, Thinkorswim was probably one of the best, platforms for automation. But now everybody's catching up, guys. And if you're late on, if you're using automation just as a tool after everything that you've learned, it'd be interesting for you to maybe open up your mind, have instead of having some preconceived notion that this is a tool, make it actually your strategy, taking the human emotion out of something. You do your analysis and you set your trade in. There's so many tools out there that can show you point of control as well as targets to the upside, targets to the downside. And I always say, we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. You could have those orders just sitting in there because you know where point of control is. Have your orders sitting in there for not only bullish trades, but for bearish trades as well. And so even if you get caught into a trade where it triggers you long, and then all of a sudden FOMC happens or somebody says something silly and the market starts, diving down, you have an order there already protected and ready. And so sometimes that can really get you out of a situation. It's almost like a hedge in a sense, right? So different ways to think about strategizing and trading. And so, but I'm sure, I still love looking at candle patterns and, but most of my trading is on automation, probably a good 85%. Let's see here. What do we got going on? Any other charts, guys? Kava. Let's look at Kava. All right. Is this for, oh my, yes, indeed. Doing awesome. Wow. What a great looking chart. Look at that engulfing right after earnings. So that's looking beautiful. Huge engulfing candle on the weekly and on the daily. Look at how it's come above, and look at next week's, by the way, point of control, just to give you an indication. So this thing can get up by next week about 130. And you can see, depending on where we close today, is going to be where the point of control is going to be, right? So if on Monday we open up higher, basically, of where we close today, we have a shot of really getting over to 130. If we break below, then we can head down to about 116. You can see that it's above this area. I'd really like to see Monday's candle, by the way, being above this area, right? Because that's the tell. And then look at this. We're very far away from our 20. I wonder if we're going to get a reversion to the mean. We also, by the way, on a 1 hour, we have a lot of divergence, right? So momentum drives price here, guys. Momentum drives price. It's not the other way around. So you can put any momentum indicator to help you identify this. But you could see that here we have strong momentum on an hourly chart, which is a really nice time frame. And then you can see that since that first hourly candle, we've been heading down on momentum. And what has price been doing? Just goes higher and higher and higher. And so we do have a bit of a divergence. The only thing I don't like about divergences is that you don't know when it's actually going to happen, right? You don't know when price is going to retreat. You don't know when it's going to decelerate. And the reason is because though you can identify the divergence with momentum, you can't identify timing with it. So that's the only, unfortunately, bad part. Let's look at it on a short time frame with momentum. Momentum really kind of going sideways here while price is going straight up. That's also a divergence. If we go to a 15 minute, you can see that we actually broke the 100 line here going down. Price keeps going up. So here you have Kava on every time frame. On every time frame, there's a divergence. We just don't know when it's going to actually happen, right? So very interesting, but God, I would imagine on at least for a daily, got to come down and check out the 20. Got to have a reversion to the mean, but we are a bit bullish today. So we'll see what happens. But wow, that's a beautiful chart. And you can see that our really the breadth of the market right now on this same time frame is more like a neutral. Is not really super bullish, but man, this thing is taken off. Love it. Nice choice. Let's see what else we got going on. No concern on the 500 PE on Kava. Well, I'm not digging into those details. But yeah, I would think just with the divergences on every time frame that you could probably expect a pullback. I would wait for that pullback before entering. I feel like, you're just, you're really asking to hold the bag here is what I would say. I mean, look at that candle. It needs to come, right? And test some support and resistance areas, right? Because that's what price does, by the way. So if that's true, then we can actually see this come and do some ebb and flow. We know that it's very far from the mean, which is basically the 20, or maybe, any type of EMA that you're using, or a VWAP as an example. But regardless, this is very far away from price. We just broke through resistance. And so typically speaking, this will come back and test support. It may not be soon. It may be in a week or two, but wow, what a lot of divergences on every time frame. So looking for a pullback here on Kava for a better entry is all I'm saying, for a better entry. Now, if there was some news or something, this looks like it was just based on its earnings. At some point there's going to be some profit taking. And so when that happens, you might think about that. All right. So let's see what else. That's excellent. Time and relax focus at Benzinga. Are you using TAS? I don't know if that's for you, Zune. Do you typically use TAS?
I actually use quite a few brokers, but yeah, I used to use like E-Trade, but now I moved over all my funds to Trade Zero. So that's my platform now, and they're going to have an announcement coming out maybe in a week or two that I'm excited for. But yeah, I have my money now with Trade Zero. And again,
how does that look? I've never seen, I haven't signed up yet, so I don't know what the platform look like. Have you been, practicing with it and getting to know all the features?
I have. So, because of some NDA stuff, I can't fully go into it, but I'm really, really
Copy that.
hoping that, in a week or two, folks will be able to kind of experience it themselves, which is why
Okay.
they're kind of doing this push, is because of some
Ah.
updates that might be coming along. If you look at their website, they're changing their logos and they're kind of revamping some things. So, I'm excited for what's to come on that end. And, we always tell people, like, sometimes people that are getting into trading, they want to know, hey, how can I do it? How can I learn? And paper trading is one of the ways. It may not work for everyone because you want your emotions and you want a chance to win money. This, to me, is where you get to sign up 100% free. You don't have to pay a single dollar. It's our competition. It's Benzinga's competition. We've partnered up with Trade Zero. It's powered by them on their broker. But yeah, you get to put your strategies to the test and you get a chance to win up to $30,000. So make sure you guys sign up for that. 100% free. Don't have to pay a single penny or anything like that. So actually, first place winner, you obviously win a bunch of cash, but you also get a trip to the stock exchange and you get a tour. You get to tour the stock exchange itself. You got to get your way there. You got to make sure you pay your way there. And then we get to tour the stock exchange and we pay for lunch for 2 people.
Wow. That's
Should
really
be fun.
exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited. But I appreciate your time here today. Any final thoughts from you?
No. I think we had a real strong recovery from that 10% correction.
Yeah.
And it looks like the market really liked what Powell had to say today. So we'll see if we get a little bit of some normalized price action to take advantage of.
Yeah, we will see how that goes. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. We will see you next week.
All right. See you guys next week, guys.
See ya. All right, we're going to kind of do a little bit of a special edition if you want. We're going to continue. Let me make sure what my schedule looks like because, sometimes my schedule is pretty open. Let's do a little bit of trading. You're welcome to hang out if you want. Sandra, I was going to go and trade some futures, maybe talk some stocks as well. But if you've got to go, no worries. Oh, I got to put you down, isn't it? You're on mute.
All right, then I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye. All right, we say bye to Sandra. You say hello to me, and we say hello to my trading view charts. Let me go ahead and fix a couple of banners here. One moment. I got to do a little bit of clickety click click. We'll click this. We'll click that. All right, cool. This show, if you're not familiar with it, if you're new, because I know a lot of you guys came from the Jerome Powell stream, this is what we call the Futures Fever, because we go over future trades and I use Apex for my funded accounts to go ahead and trade with them and take a look at some charts. So if you guys want, we'll talk about what Apex Trader Funding is. It's pretty much an eval company where if you can go ahead and get 80% off right now with an eval test. Use promo code Fever. It helps the show out here and you get a chance to get funded. If you do get funded, then you can get the account. Like for example, I have a $50,000 account, but it's not $50,000 worth of risk. It's actually $2,500 worth of risk, which cost me about a total of $200 if I pass the eval stage itself. So make sure you guys check out ATF.com or ApexTraderFunding.com. This show is sponsored by them, just a heads up. But let's go ahead and take a look at some charts. And you guys can throw in tickers as well if you'd like. I can go over some of that action for you. But let's go ahead and take a look. Oops, excuse me. What is happening here? That is not what I intended to do. All right, we are good there. So looking at this, right, you have resistance here that happened. This is all the way back. This is the daily, by the way. You have resistance here on 29th of December, right? Just to close out last year. We pop up, we hold the support, we go up, we come back, we hold the support, and then we kind of rally. Let's see what it is from here all the way to here. About a 22% rally. Then we come back. Don't exactly test it in terms of support, but then we continue going on that end. Let's see what we can find, if any ideas here. And, sometimes you just got to kind of look left. And here's another example where you had resistance. You finally popped above and it held this support and it continued to make a move up. We'll see which way this ends up being, but let's look at intraday and see if there are any trade ideas here for us at all. Maybe there. Let's take a look at the ES because I don't really see anything I particularly like. See, a part of me would want to take this short if we got up to here. If we got to the 19,713s, I'd be interested in possibly going short. Just because you had this area continue to be resistant. It held the support, finally broke through. We haven't exactly retested it on the 15. I don't really like that there either. Let me actually go back and put some all right, throw some tickers in the chat while I wait for these setups to happen on the future side. I can go in and review them, give you my insights. If you have any tickers that you'd like for me to look at, you're welcome to post them in the chat. Sounds good, Robert. Take care. Have a great day. Ooh, Zoom's popping. Okay. So for those of you that are new and don't know, I have, I think 4 or 5. I can't remember exactly. Hood contracts. I said Zoom. Sorry. Hood contracts. Okay. I see y'all's tickers. I'll get to them in here in a moment. I have, I think 4 or 5 $20 hood contracts that are expiring in January. So I bought them maybe about 2 months ago. I wanted to capture 2 earnings. I captured the first one. Unfortunately, it wasn't pretty. The market sold off. It went all the way to 14 bucks. I was down about 50% or so. Now it's come back. I'm not actually sure what I'm down now. Let's check, shall we? Let us check how much we are down on this. I am down about $1,000 at the moment. So I purchased the $20 calls for HOOD expiring January 17th. $20 calls. I purchased them. I have 5 of them for $5.40. They're currently worth $3.45. So I'm down about $200 per contract is what it is. We always want to be transparent with you guys here on the show. So let me actually show that to you. I'll have to actually do this, do that, and do this as well. So here you go. You can see hood, $20 calls, 540. Got 5 contracts down about $1,000. So that's what we've got at the moment. Let me go ahead and put my charts up so I can go over the things that you guys want me to take a look at. All right. So that's what we've got on hood. We're waiting for this to come back to the $25 price point. Really hope that happens here before the end of September, to be honest. That would be awesome. That would be great. Let's go ahead and take a look at the other tickers that you guys wanted. Take a look at Nike. So Nike was interesting. I think it was Bill Ackman that went ahead and got a position. Jay Rice. So you're right. A lot of people do that, right? Is it called a calendar? Is that what it is? I'm not a big options guy in terms of non-directional plays, in terms of just buying and selling calls, whether it's intraday or swinging. That's what I prefer to do. But I would hate to kind of, like, I'm already down 1,000. And for me, this was a position where I was okay with it going kind of zero, right? It's my risk management. If I end up losing $2,500 on the trade, I end up losing $25 on the trade. I am okay with that. Because I was looking to make $2,500, $5,000 on the trade. So to me, the risk reward was there. I had a strategy. I'm sticking with it. It's unfortunate, but I'm still sticking with it. I'm not leaving just yet. But I would hate, for example, I think Hood actually, you've seen screenshots, and I think some of you maybe have seen it as well if you have the app, that they're talking about futures fees. I've been saying for quite some time that one of the things that Hood can do is allow for futures trading on their platform. Because what great way to have people that trade options, that trade stocks on your platform just go over to futures. I mean, that's just more commission, more fees that they're able to collect, and hopefully attract more clients for them as well. But all right, let's take a look at Nike. To me, on Nike, you've obviously got a gap to fill, right? You're in the gap fill at the moment. Matter of fact, you've got two gaps to fill. One is to the downside because you had resistance here, which stayed as resistance here at, call it the $79 mark, right? You had resistance on both of these 3 times. Then I believe, excuse me, I'm sorry. I believe around this time is when you had Bill Ackman's news come out that he was invested in Nike. And then you had that pop up, came down. So you've got a gap to fill here, but you're also looking to fill this big old gap as well. So you just kind of have to be careful. Looks like maybe $84 is resistance, right? Because you had resistance, popped up, yam down, resistance here as well. If it can get above 84 and stay and base over it, I think maybe you get a gap fill opportunity to touch 88, which was previous resistance or, previous support that just completely collapsed, didn't get a chance to retest it. So if I were to get in this trade above 84, 85, my first target would be 88-ish, and then it would be 93-ish. That's where we would be on that. On Nike. That's the way that I would play that. What was the other ticker you guys want me to take a look at? MCK. Similar thing, you have a gap to fill. So if you are able to enter the gap above 578, then maybe you can go ahead and try to fill the gap and close it at 610. So you've got approximately $30 or so, it seems, if you're able to get above this and base on there. Outside of that, I think you also have a support area here at about 519, which you can see you had resistance. This is a daily, by the way. You had resistance popped up, held the support, made its move. And at the moment you have support here that was found at 533, but 519 was like the original one. Give me a sec here. See. Taking a look at oil too, in case there's something to do. This is actually an oil trade that we took last time that we were here, because you had a couple of points on this trend line. That's 1. That's 2. And then, of course, this is the 3rd one. And we'll see if we're able to kind of get above that to possibly get some more upside. But that's a trade. I think we took this one here at the start of July on that 3rd point. All right. Let's see what Apple's doing. That 227 is still acting as resistance. You had it act as resistance here on July 22nd, came back and acted as resistance as well on the 21st, 22nd, and also the 23rd. So you really got to set an alert here at 228 and have it make its way to the upside. All right. Am I bearish on INTC? Well, let's take a look, shall we? Let's actually do... I don't know. I mean, you have... So first off, this is not a ticker that I trade often at all. But if I had to kind of figure out a game plan here that I was okay with, I think 21 is kind of a resistance area, right? So you had it plenty of times, 1, 2, 3, 4, finally popped, kind of came below. So I think 21 would be good, but I think I'm okay getting in this trade as long as it can hold 20. If it breaks 20, I'd be out. So you're risking about 50 cents, maybe say $1, just in case something goes wrong and you didn't, see it. But I think your first target is 21. And then of course you want to get back above that as well. If we go to the daily, you have a huge, massive gap because of their earnings report where it fell. So if you can get this above, for me, this is my strategy. This is what I would do, right? I am not in any way, shape, or form telling you what to do. But if I were to play INTC, the following is how I would play it. I would start nibbling. Say if I wanted 100 shares, right? I'm going to go off for percentages. Say if I wanted 100 shares, I would grab 50 shares right now at about 20.41. Then if it got above 21, I would grab another 25 shares. And then if it broke 25, I would go ahead and grab another 25 shares. That way I have 100 shares accumulated with an average price point of maybe around $21 or so. Then I would start slowly scaling out as well, while leaving maybe 10 to 20 shares for $28 to be filling the gap as well. So it's percentages, whatever you're allowed, whatever allocation I have that I want to put in this based on risk management. So if I'm risking, say if I'm okay losing $1,000 per trade that I take, if I know that I'm getting in at $20.42 and I know I'm okay losing $1,000 and I know my stop loss is going to be $1, then I'm going to go ahead and get 1,000 shares. Right? So if the stock goes to $19.50 and it breaks, I'm out. I was wrong. I lose $1,000. So I would grab 500 shares here, grab another 250 shares around 21-ish, another if we break $22, and then continue making its way to the upside. It all depends on your risk management, your long-term view of how long you're okay having this money in the markets and all of that. Pretty comfortable sitting on the Nike trade with entry at 72. Let's go back to Nike and take a look. He said, oh, nice. Entry at 72. Okay, let me see if I can figure out why you took the entry at 72. Why did you take the entry at 72? Because the only thing I see is here. So one, but then there was a lot of chop-ish. It wasn't as clean. J Rice, I don't see why people want to figure out INTC. Well, who doesn't love to catch a falling knife, Especially if they believe in the long-term process of Intel. I mean, just what? Earlier this year, so 8 months ago, this stock was around like $48. So, you're down pretty heavy. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Now let's go back to the NQ. See if there's anything here for us. I do want to take a trade, but I don't want to force a trade. You know what I mean? Oh, would you look at that? So this is kind of what we drew. I think I drew it when I was on the show. We drew this little trend line, came back, tested it, bounced from there. I was a little too busy doing other things. And it got a little bit of a bounce from there. We'll see what ends up happening. Don't be surprised if it tries to test this area and rejects, though. Don't know if it'll happen. I'm not placing a trade on it because it already happened from the bounce where I would want to get in, which is about 19,636. All right, any other tickers that y'all want me to take a look at? By the way, if you haven't already, make sure you guys sign up for our trading competition. Post a link in the chat real quick. It's 100% free. You get a chance to win up to $30,000. Should be a lot of fun. All right. Meta, let's take a look. So overvalued or not, I am unfortunately not the person to... Wait, why is... Oh, okay. Because I had a different... I'm unfortunately not the person to talk to when it comes to fundamentals. I'm not your fundamentals guy. I like to trade intraday, find things, and then I'm out. Swing trade maybe here and there, but I'm not your fundamentals guy at all. To me, it's 542. Is where your resistance is over here. You kind of had, is that kind of, oh yeah. And you've got 522.75 here as well. I think if we break this, you might have a chance to go ahead and play it back to maybe the 500s or so. But between these two areas for me, it would be a no-go. I would not touch it. I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't do anything about it. In terms of trying to swing trade it. Now, intraday, yeah, maybe you might find some opportunities, sure. Right? So like the low of yesterday broke, retested it. Depending on my risk parameters, because if this is more than $2, I wouldn't have risked it. Yeah, it's a little bit more than $2. Maybe I would have taken a smaller size and risked it there. But then if I did take this one short, my risk reward would look like that. And so far, my reward would not have been met based on the risk that I was taking on this one. I'm not really seeing much in oil that I like. All right, last call for tickers. Last call for tickers. By the way, if you guys are new to the stream, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button as well. We start off 8 o'clock in the morning every weekday that the markets are open with pre-market prep. You have Joel, Dennis, AB that lead the show there. And then we go to live trading with my man Ryan in 13. They go ahead and head things up. And then depending on the day, we have Anne-Marie come on like she did today. If it's Friday, Option Sandy comes on as well. You get to hang out with me for a bit. We've got story trading that hops on the show. We have cool webinars that we do. We also have a startup showcase where 4 companies come on. They pitch to VCs and people that want to invest maybe in their company, and someone walks away with up to $2,500, a part of which you guys go ahead and decide who the winner is as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at snow. Looks like I've got some resistance here at 119.65. Are you looking at the daily there? You've got a gap to fill. Yeah, not much that I personally would care to trade on here. All right, cool. All right, y'all, that's going to do it for us. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to let us know. If you haven't already, sign up for our trading competition. 100% free to sign up. You get a chance to win up to $30,000. Should be a lot of fun. We'll get great content from it. We'll get leaderboards. You also get a chance to visit the New York Stock Exchange if you win as well. We thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.